I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things.
So did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
It's the greatest podcast in the world.
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friends.
For all of this?
Just a little bit no video games for a whole weekend. I took my drum car because I got mad at my mom, and then I saw him have my friend come in, and he smoked cigarettes. Down here, I yanked the thing.
What the fuck is up, motherfuckers? I hope my shit is sounding. I don't even know how to use these things anymore. Say I Won't Podcast Season 4 Episode 2. I thought we were just one, but it's actually Episode 2. I forgot we did one, pretended we were going to come back, and we're like, psych, motherfuckers. And here we are. Can't hear you. If you've been saying something, can't hear you at all. Nope.
Check.
Cannot hear you. Yep.
Mother trucker.
Shit. Say it.
Check.
Okay. I probably got the wrong one. Let's see.
Got the wrong one?
Yeah. It's my issue. It's not your issue. Yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Dave can hear me.
Yeah.
All right, then. If you can hear me, then.
There we go. Now I can do it.
I must look like an alcoholic to everybody. I really don't drink that much. I only drink when I have to talk to you.
That's the only way people can tolerate me. People have to be fucking drunk. What is up to everybody on the motherfucking chats? Tad, Miguel, David, Miguel, David, Tad, Miguel. Shit, man.
What does chingones mean?
Chingones, like bad motherfuckers.
All right, I'll take that.
Badasses, bad motherfuckers.
Unless
that
you're
type of
lying
shit.
to me.
I am not lying to you. What up, Mr. Knives? Fuck, we have a lot to catch up on. Some of the shit we may not catch up on. Some of them we just might mustard on.
Ultimate dad joke. Way to bring it back. Bring it back hardcore.
Speaking of dad joke, really quick. Last time I fucking forgot this, and I didn't hear the end of it. So I got to say hello to my youngest daughter, Bro. What's up, fucker? No, she can't yell at me anymore. Bro.
Was she mad she wasn't getting shout outs?
She wasn't getting shout outs, man. She needs to get shout outs. she needs to get shout outs.
Yeah, that sounds like her. So it has been a good long time. Just to double check, we do not have Brian with us tonight, correct?
We do not have Brian with us.
Okay,
I thought you were going to let him know.
We're going to get him on here for the next show.
Was I supposed to get him on here?
We didn't really say, but
we just said yes. Let's have him on, and then
I just thought he would magically appear.
Yeah.
So the next episode, we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court case that's currently on the docket for U.S. Supreme Court for concealed carry, the right to carry in public. We have a quote-unquote legal expert coming to talk to us, and that's not a slight against him. It's just I've lost all faith in any kind of experts in the last several months, and I think he would agree with me to take everything anybody ever says with a big grain of salt.
Correct.
So
yeah, I will say though, out of the people we talked to, that's probably one of the very few that we wouldn't have him on if we didn't believe he kind of knew. And even then about the case, he wasn't too sure. He just has some cases here in the state of Colorado that would be directly impacted by that ruling.
We will just say this. He knows more than we do, so he's invited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks for dropping in. Sorry you can't stay. Good to see you. Catch us on the flip side, whatever the hell that means.
Whatever that means.
Mr. Knives is here. I don't know who Mr. Knives is, but maybe that's Bro.
No, Mr. Knives is not Bro.
I'll cut you.
I will cut
So
you.
let's jump into where things are at with COVID locally, because I've noticed a few things, and wanted to see what things are like up in Denver.
Okay.
It seems like a lot of the signs that said that by state order masks are required are gone.
As long as 80% of the people inside are vaccinated.
So this has been going on for a couple of weeks. The signs, the blue and white signs with the nameless, faceless person wearing a mask saying state order, masks are required, all that stuff. Those have been coming down, and as I understood it, in El Paso County, Mayor Suthers said he was going to start leaving it up to local businesses. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've seen those signs coming down. But to replace those signs, giant branded signs, corporate signs are starting to show up in windows. So it used to be just like this little piece of paper, maybe one on each door as you're walking into the gas station or you're walking to the restaurant. By state order, you got to wear a mask in here. And now that it's voluntary, or it seems to be voluntary, now huge signs with company logos on them are showing up in the windows. That's just been my experience in Southern Colorado.
Yeah. Just because there's going to be confusion anytime we talk about that stuff.
Oh my God. I read his press release today, or I read the release that was given out about this, and yeah, I get it, but how are you going to enforce something so convoluted?
Correct. So just to be clear, he didn't reinstate anything. He extended it, which never went away, but he did specifically say, just like it says right there, the order will now allow individuals to remove masks in public and indoor spaces if 80% of individuals have proof of vaccination. So there's a big modification to it for those that are confused and don't read beyond the headlines.
So I wonder if you walked into, because it says it requires proof of vaccination, I wonder if you walked into a store and somehow managed to make one side of your face just completely relaxed, like you had Bell's palsy, and you walk in and you say, I had a vaccine, and they'd be like, oh yeah, you definitely had the vaccine. You're good to go.
Definitely had a stroke mid-session. Shit.
Yeah, so I haven't worn a mask. I mean, I won't say I haven't worn a mask, but it's been my regular practice to not wear a mask for more than 6 months. And I've only been asked to wear one small handful of times, maybe 6 times that I can remember. And 3 of those times were at Costco. So Costco's Costco are the new Nazis.
Yeah. I kind of started to reevaluate the way I looked at that stuff because I know when we first started, I was pretty like, if I went somewhere and they told me no, I would just leave. And then I started seeing, and like never, like decided never go back. And then I started to see, well, because there was one restaurant in particular that we went to, and the first time we had no issues, they didn't give a fuck. And then we went back, and then the one person that worked there was the one that was like, "Oh, you got to wear a mask," and everybody was like, Oh, and then we would go to some restaurants, not wear a mask, and then we were about to be told to wear a mask, and then the server's like, "How about you fucking don't fuck with my money?" And you back the fuck up, and you leave them the fuck alone. And you'd kind of hear that conversation, like, like you fucking tyrant shit, like. Because you are fucking with their money, right? So now, so you start to notice it's not really. Sometimes it's not even the business; it's just the fucking people they hire, and
Yeah,
kind of
it's the one or two people who are like either complete rule followers or complete born again Branch Covidians.
Yeah, it's the fucking stereotypical hall monitor.
So I tested this at Costco because
Yeah.
some of the places I've been, the hostess might say, "Hey, can you put on a mask?" And then the waiters and the waitresses don't care. So at Costco, I went in there and I waited for them to tell me to put on a mask, and I put one on. And then after I was in there for about 5 minutes, I just took the mask off. And it wasn't until I got to the checkout counter that the lady yelled at me, "Hey, you need to wear a mask." And I was like,
I heard
that's
cough on everything.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, most places it's one or two people, but at Costco it seems to be pretty much
Everybody.
everybody. So, is that the Real Gun websites dropping in?
The gun websites, that motherfucker. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Not to belittle everybody else who jumped in. Hello, Matt.
Yeah.
I can't scroll on this chat here. I can only see what's at the top. That's interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think a lot of times people are, in general, just don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And so they're doing what they have to do to stay out of trouble. And
Correct.
So I don't necessarily hold an establishment accountable for that, except one place, which I know it was the owner who yelled at me, not just said, "Hey, do you have a mask?" Yelled at me to put on a mask. And that was a gas station. I'm like, well, I'm definitely not coming back here.
Yeah.
There's plenty of gas stations. I don't need to come back to this one.
Correct.
But most places, they're pretty polite about it. At Walmart, they ask you, "Can I get you a mask?" Well, that's a pretty easy answer for me. No, thanks.
No thanks.
And then I just keep walking.
No thanks.
And I know at Walmart, they don't care. I mean, I tell the guy with the receipts, who asks for my receipt, I tell him no thanks.
No thanks. Yeah. So the mood definitely has shifted since last time we talked. I know for a lot of people this is kind of beating a dead horse, but we've been off like 2 months now. 2-3 months that we've been off. We haven't, so we're kind of just catching up here.
Well, I wanted to talk about one more thing about the masks. So in the executive order, Governor Polis said that people giving speeches to an audience do not need to wear a mask.
Ta-da, never have.
I'm like, what the hell kind of logic is that? You could just sit in a group of people and be like, no. I'm giving a speech.
Will you hush? Shh.
I mean, these rules are so ridiculous. I mean, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek when people say, like, the virus can't get you while you're sitting down or it only comes out after 10 o'clock. But there's so many instances of this. And that one really got me because I'm doing my class. The people in the front row are not even 6 feet away from me.
Dude, I know I spit on the fucking people in the front.
I know.
Like, as you're talking, like...
Yeah. And I'm projecting my voice. I'm not just talking. I'm like giving it everything I've got. So the people in the back row are getting Rona from me if I've got it. I'm like, what? And I'm just going to talk continuously for 2 hours. Like this doesn't make any sense. And that's my biggest beef. I mean, to stay with COVID, but to switch gears with this, the vaccine thing, it's like, look, none of this makes any sense. I'm not being told anything truthful here. I'm not being given the whole picture.
Yeah.
And, if they were giving me the whole picture, and they said, "Look, yes, we understand the vaccine may be dangerous. We get that. There is a risk of side effects. People do die from this, and you need to understand the risks and understand that you might not actually be prevented from getting COVID. But we want you to have all the information." Man, I'd be so much closer to taking the
Correct.
vaccine.
I'm not a vacciner at all.
I'm not either. I mean, like, I've
And
gotten them
it's-
when I needed
Yeah.
them. I got, I went to Africa. I got 6 vaccines in one day, and it felt like it damn near killed me.
Yeah.
But I needed to go to Africa, so I'm gonna get these vaccines. So I'll do it if I need to. But and I say medically need to. I don't mean like just to get on a plane somewhere.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's not even that I'm against it, right? It's like a lot of people, whatever it is, what it is. It's just not. I don't. If we were talking about something that was proven, that was like my chances of dying are 98% if I catch it, then I'm going to take a vaccine that has a few side effects, right? But if it's this shit that I've already had, first of all, if I catch it again, I'm not going to be happy. But I know it's horrible. It's not amazing. It wasn't cool for me, but Tish is the one that's going to have to suffer more than I am. So
I have to listen to you.
it's got to listen to me pitching.
Care of you.
So fuck it.
Wipe your butt. Yeah, the thing is like, if I had a good enough reason, I would take it. But if I'm being lied to about it, I'm not
Correct.
taking it.
It's
I mean,
tough.
what are you hiding?
It's
Why are
tough.
you lying to me about this?
Correct.
When Fauci gets on national TV and says things like, the vaccine is a better protection than your natural antibodies, which is like never been true about any
Anything.
virus ever or any disease. It's like, and he says, the best protection is probably people who had a mild case and then get the vaccine. I'm like, I don't understand that logic. What about the people who had no symptoms?
Correct.
What about people who had severe symptoms? How
Yeah.
are you, like, can you explain to me how somebody with mild symptoms and getting the vaccine is the best combination? Where did you come up with that?
Oh, it's dumb.
But
And the
have to
dumbest
trust-
thing is get it, but you still have to do everything else we're telling you to do. You still can't hang out with more than 10 people. You still can't. And I see that they're slowly backpedaling on that, because initially it was like, even after the vaccine, you have to have your muzzle on the entire time.
or 2 muzzles.
Or 2 muzzles or 3 muzzles, whatever. Oh, you got the J&J? Holy shit. No big deal.
Well, that's the thing with the vaccine. Like, most people who get it have no big deal. I mean, it might be painful. You might run a fever for a day, but I mean, when I get my tetanus shot, I can't move my arm for a day or two.
Yeah.
It's not unusual to get a minor reaction from that. Most people are not having problems with it.
I don't get a tetanus shot until I get stabbed with metal. Then
I am overdue for my tetanus shot.
I need to go.
I'm going to get the lockjaw. So the bigger issue, I think, is the change in language that has gone on, where people who are just asking questions about this are being characterized as enemies of the country, of the state, of the population, and I'm being lumped in because I don't, I have my doubts about this whole thing, and I'm being lumped in with white supremacists, hardcore Trump supporters, all that
Correct.
stuff. Like, I'm only a Trump supporter. I'm not a white supremacist. I'm just kidding. It's like, it's a dishonest association. There are plenty of people who are not Republicans, who are not white, who are not Trump supporters, who have questions about the vaccine.
Well, and what happened to just science, right? Like, what happened to just plain old science? And I think that's one of my biggest issues with all of this stuff is we just forgot about science. We've completely ignored history, and how in history experts have lied, and they have lied for political reasons. So and that's kind of where we're back at. Like we're not paying attention to what's happened in the past. We're not paying attention to all of the science, and the science is you have to go through the fucking process, see what works. There's a hypothesis and all that shit. We're just not doing that. We're just saying shit just to fucking say shit, and that is it. And any real scientist that says like, wait a minute, I'm not against all of this shit, but like fucking let's do science stuff here, right? Like we got a hypothesis, we think there's some shit going on, and like, but we haven't went through the fucking process. We found a problem. We said, fuck it. We found a solution instantly. And this is all it. And you see it, right? Because the solution was 6 feet apart. And they're like, okay, well, nobody's going to believe that. So let's have them wear a mask. And fuck, nobody's going to believe that. So that's how fucking use a vaccine that hasn't been actually approved yet. It's just on emergency shit, which means it's still in a fucking trial run, right? Like it's still a test.
Welcome 50 million Americans or 100 million Americans to the trials.
Yeah.
You're not even getting paid for. Well, some people are. Some people are getting paid for it. People in Detroit, I think, are getting $50 to get the vaccine, so they're at least getting paid. But there's a whole lot of people who are now part of the vaccine trials who don't even realize that that's what's going on. So
correct.
Did you hear about the fact that they're dosing up the control groups with the vaccine?
Nah.
So, in a standard scientific study where you have a double-blind group, so you have one group's going to get the vaccine, one group's not going to get the vaccine, and the observers don't know who's who. Correct. They obviously keep records on it, but they observe everybody, assuming that they all got the vaccine. And then when things are discovered, you find out, well, this person died of a stroke, but they were in the control group. They didn't actually get the vaccine, so there's our sample of disease that happened without the vaccine, or injury, or you can't call it an injury because they didn't get the vaccine, but the normal course of disease for that group compared to the people who got the vaccine. Yeah. Well, it's not fair that these people in the control group don't have access to the vaccine. That's just not fair. So we're going to go ahead and give them the vaccine because we know it's safe now. And yes, that's not good science, but that is probably the safest thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing what I heard a clinician at one of these clinics saying about this process. I'm not saying this from like I heard it from some pundit.
Yeah.
I heard the clip of the clinician saying, this is not a good scientific practice, but this is probably the safest thing to do for the people who couldn't take the vaccine because they're in the control group. I'm like, all right, first of all, if you got put into the control group, you were given a disclaimer that says you don't know if you're getting the vaccine or not. You are signing off on not getting the vaccine, possibly. Are you okay with that? Are you of good, sound mind to go ahead and make that decision? And everybody who signed up for that study said, yes, I agree. I might not get the vaccine. Well, there you go. There you go. You don't have to worry about their safety because they volunteered to not get the vaccine.
Correct.
So don't come at me with this safety stuff.
Correct.
And now we're losing our long-term control group. So we don't know in 5 years if people are dropping dead from ovarian cancer or, stroke or anything like that. We don't know because everybody got the vaccine.
Yeah.
That's not
bonkers.
Science.
That's bonkers, dude.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
That's the scary shit. That's the shit that concerns me the most is that people just forgot. They just forgot about basic science, man.
Well, a lot of people were not taught basic science.
That's scary, dude. That's fucking crazy to me, man. It's just insane. Like science has a process, and that process is out to be respected. Mm-hmm. And there's still science that's going on, even with the muzzles and shit like that, right? Stanford came out with it saying that we don't think this shit works as great as you think it is. In fact, it has potential of being super fucking deadly.
Yeah, that was a weird one because the Stanford came out after that was published and said this person doesn't work here. They're not a.
It was in their shit.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird. It's like we've gotten to the point where it's so convoluted, you don't know who to believe at what stage in the story. You know,
So I
like
wonder if Biden hit him up, be like, "Hey, Stanford, you're not on our side. No more federal funding."
yeah, or it's possible that this was a valid, legit study, and Stanford just turned on this person because they weren't paying attention until it was published. Or it's also possible that that study is bullshit.
It is. Yep.
You know, and that's what makes this so aggravating. Is
Correct.
like I want to have the right information. I'm not just going to believe it just because it confirms what I want to do.
Correct.
Since the beginning with the mask thing, I've accepted that it's possible that the masks work and they do a good job and they keep everybody safe. And I don't want to wear one. You know, like
Ta-da.
that's my approach. I'm not standing here telling everybody I know better than them. And I had a couple of students in my class last week. And, you know, they stayed late and we're talking, you know, gun stuff and practice and all this. And somehow the conversation goes into COVID.
Always.
And these two very entertaining ladies were going ballistic. I mean, it started off with one of them talking about getting kicked off of a flight because she didn't wear a mask. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this is going to be a good story here. You know, and it's not that I don't agree with them. It's just my point in the way I live my life is not to convince other people that I'm right.
Correct.
My point is to be left alone
Correct.
and not be told that I have to follow something that I don't want to do.
Correct.
You know, and yeah, well, you know, we all have to follow laws. Okay, listen, I understand that there are laws and rules that are designed to keep everybody from killing each other. I also understand that we all take calculated risks in everything we do, and we
That's right.
make our own decisions. And you know, if
There's been plenty of times where you just don't put the condom on, and then fucking 5 pumps in, you're like, ah, shit, I don't know if I'm gonna catch something.
is it too late?
And then 10 pumps in, you're like, I don't give a fuck. Like, we'll deal with that shit when it fucking comes up. Like, we'll itch it when we'll scratch it when it itches, right? Let's fuck
Right.
it. I don't, whatever.
And I also accept the obvious hypocrisies that I have in my own
Yeah,
life. Like,
of course.
I'm not perfect, and not all of my logic lines up perfectly with you know everything I believe or whatever. I just
Yeah.
it's like, how could you possibly manage every possible piece of information that comes at you and formulate some kind of a social strategy? We get too much information. We have too much information. We
Yeah.
know too much. We get told too much. It's too much for us to process it all and live a life without some level of hypocrisy. And that was probably true even before the internet.
Yeah.
Here we are now where the internet influences pretty much every damn thing that we do.
Correct.
So, which by the way is why I believe that we are completely beyond hope. You know, when this whole COVID thing started, the idea was like, oh my God, this is the apocalypse. It's all happening, you know, and then it kind of petered out. No, I think we're still in the early stages of this apocalypse, and it's going to be a very long, drawn-out process, and it's going to be slow, and it's going to be gradually more and more painful. So,
Whatever.
I think,
Fuck
but it's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully we start to kind of self-correct, and we start to figure out this whole internet thing out.
Well, speaking of the internet,
Yeah.
do you pay attention to the White House YouTube channel?
No, never. I don't pay attention to the White House, not the way I used to. Really, as soon as Trump and Biden became leaders, then that's kind of when you're just like, this is just a fucking... We already knew it was a circus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now
Not,
it's just...
not a very good one either. Like
no, horrible. Like one of the worst, man.
This is like the circus that comes to the neighborhood, not the circus that comes to the Coliseum.
The
Yeah.
one where they fucking light the ring of fire and only one little spot is lit.
Yeah.
Like not the whole thing.
The one where they supposedly have safe rides when they can put them up
Yeah.
and tear them down in like 6 hours.
30
you know?
minutes. Yeah.
You literally walk by a dirt lot one day, and then the next day there's a full functioning
Amusement park.
amusement park. You're like, how the hell did this get here? Yeah, it's more like that circus. So the White House YouTube channel
Yeah.
is getting bombarded on a daily basis
Oh, I bet.
with dislikes. And it's pretty easy to imagine. I mean, if we're talking, we're probably talking about maybe 30% of viewers are leaving a thumbs up and a thumbs down. So we're not even, it's not like an overwhelming number of viewers who are rating the videos. But in that ratio, it's about 10% likes to dislikes on a regular basis, which is pretty ugly when the video gets, 200,000 views. It's pretty ugly when, because then we're talking about maybe 5,000 dislikes to 500 likes. And there's plenty of evidence, although I haven't seen it happen in front of me. I've seen examples of it, like Dave was talking about. They're erasing dislikes. Now, it's easy to see this kind of hate going towards the White House. There's a dedicated group of individuals who keep going to all of their videos and just disliking them no matter what. But what I'm noticing is when I land on the YouTube homepage for one of my, for all of my different logins, there's a COVID report that is on the banner. Right?
Always, yeah.
And you go to those videos, and the dislike ratio is way higher on those videos lot of the time.
So I just pulled the one that came up 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
This is their newest one. And
it's Dr. Jill Biden.
Dr. Jill Biden. What is she? A fucking a doctor in what is what I want to know.
Doctor of education.
Probably, right? She's a PhD.
I think that's it. I think she's a doctor. She's got a PhD in education.
So she's a PhD. She's not a MD.
Right.
Yeah. But when you say doctor, right, like it just sounds incredible.
If she was a real doctor, she'd pull that man out of the White House right now and put him in a home.
So it's 137 likes, 1,700 dislikes.
Yeah, so that's a little bit less than 10%.
Yeah.
But I could say on average it's running about 10%.
And this was about 4 hours ago when they posted it.
How many views on there?
5,720 views.
Okay, so they're not even getting that much attention. But, you could make the case that it's just a bunch of like internet trolls going out to hate. But it's the mainstream videos that are being published on the homepage that are getting worse treatment from people.
Yeah.
They're getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views and disproportional dislikes. And so I'm wondering, at what level do we consider this a good sample size?
I'm trying to find one where it's 100,000. They're all like in the 20s and 30s. Oh,
if you go to his speech, I think.
Here's one, 486,000.
Okay.
This one's from the White House, 486,000 views. Just call it 487. 4,000 likes, 32,000 dislikes.
That's a little bit more than 10%, actually. That's a lot of dislikes. They're running above average on that one for likes.
And that was just because it's Fauci. Extra sauce for fucking Fauci.
Yeah, extra hate for that man. So I mean, I think the argument from the inflamed and terrified left would be, well, this is just a bunch of white supremacists who are on a campaign to make the White House look bad. Except I don't ever see any coordinated campaign on the internet to do that. And I don't see a coordinated campaign on the internet to hate on the COVID videos. So these are just, in my opinion, this is a pretty normal sample of the YouTube viewership.
Correct.
Standing up and hating on this stuff. So that begs the question, how many people out there really do believe this stuff, who really are on board with all of this compared to how many aren't? And if there are that many people who hate it and who are, disagree with it, why is this minority winning every argument, every fight, every battle? Why are they winning so much? There's less of them.
And usually it's the other way around. Usually when we see this stuff, it's the other way around. So if we look at guns, gun owners are typically the silent minority, or we're the least represented ones, right? We don't show up. If they hold an anti-gun rally, more people typically show support for that. It looks like, anyways, the optics in the news and shit like that, the rallies and stuff like that. The titty march, the feminist shit, like
Yes, Titty March.
The titty march. That gets. I mean, you see them in the streets, and it's pretty impressive, right? And you try and hold a gun rally, and like fucking 20 people show up. So it's usually that way. Usually, it's the quote unquote conservative side that doesn't show up. And when you look at this shit, like it's quite the opposite, man. Is it that?
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's like a conservative group. I think it's normal people. You know, I don't think it's not a
I'm certainly not conservative by today's definition, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certainly not I'm not a Republican, far from it. So, but I'd be on the fucking thumbs down side all fucking day long.
Well, pretty much anything that's manufactured out of the mainstream gets a thumbs down at this point.
Yeah.
And there's been a few videos that stood out to me lately criticizing the mainstream for various reasons. Like Alyssa Milano apparently put out a video saying how, you know, black people are so oppressed. And a black woman got on and said Alyssa Milano was a white supremacist because her arguments were anti-black, like the fact that black people are too dumb to figure out how to vote, you know.
To this day, I don't understand why white liberals think that is a good argument to go on TV and go on their social medias and say
because they're
brown
racist.
people,
like
dude,
they're that racist,
dude.
Oh,
like it's.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you.
Yeah,
Dave has a fantastic idea.
yeah,
We got to combine forces with the feminists.
yeah,
We got to do a topless gun rally.
yeah. Of course.
We should do it in Keene. In Keene,
Well-
New Hampshire, we could totally do it. They do topless rallies all the time in Keene.
Well, we're like 10 steps ahead of you. I'm talking to a chick. This has been
As usual.
This has been in the works for a while, where we're gonna do a naked people class. So there's gonna be naked ladies doing a gun class. You want me to pull it up?
No.
I'll pull it up. I will pull that shit up. Watch. I'll show you the conversation
Oh my
right
God.
quick. I told you this. And
I
if
know, but
didn't-
I didn't want to believe it.
yeah,
I wanted.
no.
I didn't want the secret. You know, I didn't want to speak it into existence.
She approached me and she said, "You know, it would be a fucking amazing thing to do." So me being me, and like, "What's up, fool? Like, what up?" And she says, "Let's have naked chicks do classes." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do that shit." Like, let's do that. I'll pull it up and I'll show it to you.
Okay, so I'm sorry what you were saying before.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking about titties.
We were talking about Alyssa Milano being a white supremacist and talking.
Oh
about
yeah, that
Oh,
argument.
my
Like it's like, I don't know why they genuinely believe that is a, and here's what pisses me off the most. You have people in your circle, supposedly, right? Because you're this super duper diverse human being, right? I wonder why those people don't tell him, how about you just shut the fuck up and eat a fucking fat cock, and quit saying stupid shit like that. Like, I wonder why the brown people that do hang out with Alyssa Milano, and
She doesn't hang out with any brown people.
probably not, and who's the other sexy white liberal chick that had a talk show that told 50 Cent?
Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, Chelsea Handler.
And the funny thing about this is, like, Chelsea Handler gets roasted by the independent media, by the comedians, and but it's 50 Cent who gets in trouble for standing up to Chelsea
Correct.
Handler in
Correct.
the media.
Correct.
Like, when you want to see racism, watch how black men are treated in media.
Yeah.
Unless they died, they are not allowed
Correct.
to talk.
Correct.
This has been true for a long time, but there's been some really glaring examples recently. I can't remember what this guy's name is. He's some black celebrity, and he was talking about how George Floyd sacrificed his life so that this guy's kids could live in a world with more justice. He's a black guy, and his kids are black, and I'm sure he's coming from a place of, like, at least something good happened from George Floyd's death. Now we're having this conversation about police brutality and everything, and he gets shouted down, and he gets treated with such disrespect by the media, by Twitter. He gets basically told that he needs to shut up and keep his opinions to himself. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi says the exact same thing, and nobody calls her on it. Nobody checks her on that.
Yeah. Well,
So-
didn't Biden? It wasn't Biden that also. Oh no, he said something different. He
Well, he
said,
said
"Fucking
if you don't vote for him, you ain't black.
no, not that comment." He just recently said that the Floyd was a bigger impact than Martin Luther King. But that's a different context. That's a different context, though. And that's the thing is just I just don't get it. I've heard that shit a lot, and it's like I hear it more and more. It was Biden that said that we don't know how to use computers. We don't know how to get on the internet. So that's why
and you're just
I'm just as smart as
white kids.
Poor people are just as smart as white kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me answer Amaz's question. Guns. How much ammo and magazines can I have in my vehicle when
As
I'm
much as
driving?
you can afford.
As many as you can fit in your vehicle. To answer David's question, not true. Pelosi was shat on hard by Black Twitter. Black Twitter is not mainstream media. Black Twitter is not mainstream Twitter. Black Twitter is more independent minded. I'm talking about the people who get attention on Twitter. I'm talking about the mainstream media shutting down people like people telling what's his face, the guy who was doing the interview with Biden when he told him when Biden said
Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne the God doesn't get checked for not saying something to Biden about. Now he's going to get checked by most black people, but most black people do not have the platform to talk about this. So this whole episode of Biden saying that if you don't vote for him, you ain't black, it should have been Charlemagne the God that said something, and he should have checked him on it, but he didn't. And Charlemagne did not catch the heat that he would have if he had said something to him about it.
So I seen an interview after that, and somebody did ask him like, "Why the fuck didn't you put heat on him?"
Yeah, an interview with who though? Like who interviewed him?
I don't remember. I could pull it up. I forgot who it was, but he did the interview, and his only thing was, I was just gonna let him fucking hang himself. Like his whole thing was like, I already knew I had gold as soon as I heard that, because he had been sitting.
Not Charlemagne's style. Charlemagne's confrontational with his guests.
On the Breakfast Club.
On the Breakfast Club, now he's on a podcast. He can say whatever he wants now.
Yeah, but on the Breakfast Club, and that was his whole thing. Like that shit was not for that, because he did do another one, and I forget which podcast it was in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just pull it up, but this was more in the context of kind of comparing. More so talking to what the fuck, the black community, letting them know how he's worse. Biden is worse than Trump. I'll have to pull that shit up.
Well, so while you're looking that up, I want to talk about Jacob Blake because
Andrew. It was, I didn't know it was with Andrew, but yeah, it was with Schultz.
Oh, who's that? I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that guy's name, dude. That dude's funny. But if he's doing an interview with Charlemagne, that means he's already co-opted, man. Like, you don't do this kind of thing without access.
You
don't
can't
get
hear, you can't hear the video, huh?
Correct.
Oh, okay, because it was playing and you're still talking. And I'm like, I don't think he can hear it. Yeah, this is the conversation where he talks about that shit.
So, Jacob Blake, if he had said the right things, he'd be all over TV all of the time. Now, he is putting up a fight against the police for what they did to him, but didn't he initially come out and say something that was kind of like on the fence, like I don't hold any ill will towards the police or something like that?
I don't know.
Why is this guy not on camera? Why is he not being trumpeted around and used as a public speaking tool for Black Lives Matter, for this movement? Because in my opinion, they're not interested in his opinion at all. They don't want him on TV. They want to use his name, and that's all they want from him.
Well, that's politics. I mean, that's politics. Every 2 years, every time there's elections, the brown people get used.
Yeah, okay. So Richard said Jacob Blake admitted to going for his knife. Okay. So regardless of the politics of the situation, should he have been shot 4 times in the back? I don't know. I wasn't standing right there when it happened. I do know the police completely lost control of that scene.
Correct.
From the get-go. But him admitting that he was going for his knife, now all of a sudden it's like, no, shut up, dude. We got what we wanted out of you.
Correct.
You go away, and when it's time to file the civil suit, we'll come back. We'll get your name on it, but you shut up. We don't need your opinion. We don't need your help.
Yeah.
And if you look at all these Black Lives, not all of these, but a lot of these BLM marches that are going on, it's not black men leading the march. It's black women leading the march.
Correct.
But it's supposedly black men that are the ones dying in the streets.
Correct.
And I've seen videos of black men getting basically shouted out of these rallies for trying to stand up and say something without being part of the right group and the right message.
So what we learned from this, ladies and gentlemen, is Isaac is trying to turn this into a sex war.
It just comes back to the fact that I hate women so much.
So I found the video. It was Charlemagne the God and T.I. Talking about this stuff. But you can't hear it. I wonder if the people can hear it.
We'll play it a little bit and then get somebody to tell you if they can hear it. I can hear his sweater from here. Okay. Yeah, we're Richard's saying he can't hear it. Mr. Knives is saying he can't hear it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. What is he saying? Like, summarize what he says in this interview. What's his argument?
I'm not gonna do that shit.
Oh, now we can hear it.
Get 9/11 done first, so we got the procedures.
Yeah. So after that, they're like, hey, you see what they're coming over here doing? They flying planes in our building.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So when they put all those police in our neighborhood and they hit us with those harsh sentences for whether it's the 94 crime bill, the 88 crack laws, they can justify that shit based off this is where all the trouble is at. This is where all the problems is at. You seen Joe Biden stand on the Senate floor and say that verbatim. He was like, I don't care about the conditions that cause these predators to become predators. We need to fix this shit now, because if we don't, they're going to end up killing our moms and our fathers and our brothers and our sisters.
Is Joe Biden good?
Nah, it's tough.
I got questions.
I think he's a good guy with bad shit on him.
Man,
he got some bad shit on him.
You see how confused he is by him saying
the worst
that?
things to black people that Donald Trump ever had.
For real.
Hell yeah, man, the 88 crack laws?
Educate me.
He did the
88 crack laws with Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was a motherfucking racial segregationist from South Carolina.
Who was he down with? Was he down?
It was
Barack's vice president.
Did
the 88 crack laws. Think about it. 88 crack laws. Everybody knows crack was in the black community more than anywhere.
Because they put it there.
They dropped it off.
Okay.
So
Charlemagne he knows about 88 crack laws. He's my age. He knows
and you guys
stuff.
both did crack.
Yeah, we did crack together. He knows that. He's playing like he doesn't know that. He knows that. There's no way he doesn't know that.
You're talking about T.I. I know there's black people in there. They all look the same to you. But this one right, Charlemagne.
Is the guy wearing the sweater?
This is Charlemagne the God right here. The other one, his name is T.I. That's a rapper.
Which one's wearing the sweater?
So the guy right here, his name is Charlemagne the God.
That's Charlemagne?
Yeah, so I know they all look. Richard.
Okay, that's
where's Richard?
I was right about that. I was right in saying Charlemagne must know about the crack laws.
Yeah, Charlemagne does know about the crack law. He's knowing this is T.I. right here. Woo, right here.
How could T.I. not know that?
Because T.I. he kind of knew that. I think he knows. He
Well,
knows.
okay. So my question is that when was this video done? Was this before or after him being?
That's a
on-
good question. That's a good question. Let me put it back up. I'll figure that out. You fucking
Okay.
rile
here's
the
the
crowd
thing.
out.
The way that Charlemagne talks and the way that he carries himself on the Breakfast Club and the way the image he projects does not match up at all with his interview with Joe Biden, especially the way it ended, and his reaction afterwards. With as much weight as he could pull, he should have come out much harder against that, and he didn't because he knew better. He knew better than to talk about Biden after that interview. He did let that thing float out there on its own, and that was its own thing. But he could have piled on, to stand up for the black community. He didn't do it.
This came on after.
Richard said he's calling Sharpton. This came on after?
Yeah.
Well, I'm full of shit then.
Yeah, of course. I mean, not that, but that's what I told you is he had these conversations afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, he had all of these conversations afterwards. For me, I'm thinking about it from the perspective of Charlemagne, who's not a journalist, and he says so. Like, I'm not a journalist. I just had the fucking opportunity to have this guy on. And he knew from previous experience that Joe Biden gives you gold if you just let him talk. So he wasn't there to argue with him. He was just there to ask a question and let him ramble, is what he has said in many situations. He wasn't there with the support of Angela and DJ, I forget his name.
So is Charlemagne the black Joe Rogan?
No, I wouldn't call him that because Joe Rogan actually takes his interviewing kind of seriously. And Charlemagne, not that he doesn't, but Charlemagne has always said he's not a journalist. He like when he does podcasts and shit like that, he's there to have a conversation, but he doesn't really want to do the Breakfast Club shit. The Breakfast Club shit he does that because he's got Angela Yee there and asking questions and shit like that. So he'll ask the stupid questions when he has to, but like other than that, like he's always said, like, I'm not a journalist. That's not my fucking job. Like I'm not gonna grill him. That's fucking CNN and Fox News, like the journalist people. Like I'm a fucking radio personality.
It's a complicated, convoluted world. Joe Rogan used to just have interesting people on his show, and now his booking is basically used to promote content for other people. It's like people are releasing books or documentaries or blah 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 blah. And he still gets those interesting people, but there has to be a hierarchy of how you pick these people because so many people want to get on. Well, how do you pick who's going to be on? Well, it's the people who are going to pay you. And so, PR publicists, they get these people on the show. There's advertising money going back and forth here, and it complicates it. But Joe Rogan still has the conversation that he wants to have with the person. He still finds these people interesting. He's not going to have on a show he doesn't want on a show.
Yeah.
And on the Breakfast Club, it would seem to me that it's much more corporate. Like none of these people on the show are really in charge of the show. They're not producing the show. They are the ones. They're the talent.
Correct.
And so
which would require more controversy and more gossip and more.
Yeah. I still don't understand how they couldn't hold Kamala Harris more to the fire. How can you have the DA, or not the DA? What was she, the Attorney General in California?
She was the AG of California. Yeah.
Yeah. How can you have her on the show and not talk about how many black people she's locked up?
Well, not just locked up, but like incorrectly with incorrect evidence and made up shit.
She was high. Man, I was high when I said that.
and that's the bigger issue, right? Like if let's say laws existed, which anybody who follows me understands that I hate government, I hate laws, I'm an anarchist. But I got to give the Rob Pincus disclaimer so before everybody fucking goes on that lynching fucking mode. So let's just assume there's a society with laws, right? And the attorney general says, well, here's the laws. I got to put you in jail because of these laws right here. She didn't just do that. Because I think most people would be like, oh, that's fucked up. You caught only black people and you ignored white people. Like, that's a common thing. But she fucking had a few select people, and it may have been that they just happened to be black, but it was coincidentally black dudes that she caught. And she's like, I'm going to make shit up about you and like make evidence up and hide evidence to support my position so I can get reelected. And shit like that. So
that excuse doesn't hold up because we're holding everybody in history accountable for white supremacy. So that excuse that, well, they just happen to be black, that doesn't hold up. Because
correct.
As
yeah.
Anti-racist, she should have been working for the liberation of all black people.
Yeah, of course. We're like, when I say like they just happen to be black, like I say that in our context. But yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if she's going to make the argument at all that, you know, it wasn't about race, that's not good enough.
Correct.
For the left, because everything is about race for the left. I got to be careful how I say this because I don't even know how to say it anymore. Because I was having a conversation with my oldest about this, and the conversation was left versus right, and she was like, well, no, they're not left. I'm like, I don't even know what the definition of left is anymore because, you know, like, are you saying left is full-blown communist, or are you saying left is not left enough, or what are we saying here?
Correct.
Counts for the left. It's not just the left that's been fractured. The right has been fractured as well.
Yeah.
The right is like, the right has no cohesion. That's why they can't mount any kind of, you know, resistance to what's going on right now. You have the never Trumper right, which are closer to what used to be liberal. Then you have the I would say maybe like the silent right, which is more centrist at this point.
Yeah.
But they're not. You don't want to say anything because they don't want to get in trouble. Then you have, you know, the far right, which is more just conservative, but now they're called the far right. Then you have what used to be the far right, which are now just full-blown domestic terrorists. You know, and it's like, man, it's really hard to keep up with all of this.
And we used to not see it. Now we can see it all. And I think that's kind of what I'm hoping, where this internet shit kind of, at some point we fully grasp it. Because if you really think about it, we've only really had this version of the internet for like 10 years. Like for like about 10 years, we've had this version of the internet. That's really when
Web
about
2.0.
Yeah, exactly. Like Facebook really started getting popular, and then Instagram, and then Twitter, and then a lot of other fucking platforms, Snapchat and shit like that. Like this version of it came up and came to be, and everybody was starting being exposed for who they are, for better or for worse. And it's no longer what one media was saying we all are. Now it's just like, no, this is the fucking diversity that's among the right and the left. Because now you do. Yeah.
This is why I don't have any faith in the future, because we were not built for this. We weren't even built for television. You know,
it's crazy.
Were barely able to adapt to radio.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say adapt, I mean to be able to manage and lead normal, healthy, productive lives without going insane. We were not built for television. Television is so incredibly powerful. You see it when you watch a kid interact with a TV. That is a good demonstration of how utterly powerless we are to the hypnosis that is TV. And now we have the internet, and we have every kind of entertainment we could possibly want in our hands at all times. And we cannot resist this hypnosis. You can't. I mean, if you really evaluated everything you thought, I think there's a lot of ways you could tie it back to something you heard or read or saw on the internet. And how can you trust that?
Correct.
How can you trust it as being honest? How can you trust it as being unbiased? You can't. And so we're talking about massive hypnosis going on right now. And it's not all by one group of people. It's not like one puppet master is playing with the strings. There's a million puppet masters, you know?
Yeah.
And some of these puppet masters last a week, and some of them last a decade. But you can't avoid it once you go on the internet.
Yeah.
I think there is an exception for podcasts because I think that in general, podcasts are consumed audibly. You're just listening. And that is far closer to what we evolved to do with each other, is just to listen to each other. And so I think podcasting is kind of like the last bastion of normal media that can be consumed relatively safely by people. It's not hypnotic in the same way that visual stuff is hypnotic. Have you noticed, by the way, speaking of hypnosis, when you're watching YouTube, you get the ads, right? The ads pop up and they're like, you know, get your vaccine.
I don't get the ads.
Oh, you don't get the ads? Okay. Some of the browsers I use play ads and some of them don't. So I see some ads.
I pay not to get the ads.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I do need a ring light. There's only one light in this room and it's behind me. So
here, let's
hit. There we go.
Let's do this.
Actually, can I mess with that on my end? Probably
no,
not.
I got a light.
Oh, you have a light. Okay.
I turned the light off.
So these ads that play for COVID to get the vaccine, to listen to the science and blah, 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 they all have the same MK Ultra music playing in the background. There's this little like lilting piano in the background or some other kind of hypnotic music playing as they play these messages. And I know a lot of people think that's bullshit, but if you know anything about MK Ultra, they have been working on hypnosis through media for decades. Like many, many decades. It's not unreasonable at all to think that kind of information has made its way into marketing. I mean, why wouldn't it? It's very powerful. It can make you a lot of money. But all these ads are playing this music. Why you got to play the music? Like, shouldn't the information stand on its own? Why do we have to listen to this music while you try to hypnotize me into taking the vaccine? Or into, like, believing that only CNN is the true source of news? You know, like, why do you have to try to trick me while you're telling me something?
Yeah.
You know? So, all right. I think we've ranted enough about that. I want to talk about. We didn't really get a chance to talk about this. I want to talk about Pincus and the shitstorm he stirred up, which has already died down. By the way, people have already.
We're gonna restart the shitstorm.
I want to resurrect it. I
want to resurrect the shitstorm.
So, Pincus,
and he's about to start another one.
Oh, good. I love this dude. He has got balls.
Well, he sent you in, and you talked to him about the shitstorm he's about to start.
Yeah.
Because you know what the outcome of that post he's going to do. I don't know if you ever gave him the
I realized
okay to post it.
I didn't today. I need to go ahead and do that. But you could have done that too. You could have, like, unless you don't want to put your name on it.
No, it's not that. It just the way Pincus writes articles. And this is why I know people quickly misunderstand what Pincus is saying, because he says he types it, and even when he speaks it, I can understand it better. But for whatever reason, my brain, when it's reading, which is why I don't read that much, you can say the same words to me audibly, and I'll get it, I'll understand it. But once I see them, it's not dyslexia, because I'm not dyslexic, but there's got to be something going on there. Like when I read that shit, like I can't. It doesn't fucking compute. So that's why I usually have to read it like fucking 15 times.
Yeah, it could actually be a form of dyslexia.
Probably, like legit. It very well could be. That's why I haven't replied to that. But I also know that's probably why a lot of people don't really understand what the fuck he's saying. Even the people that are both like my friend and they hate Pincus. Like it's like I have to like sit down and be like you're just not understanding what the fuck it's saying. Like you read a little portion of it, and that's the only portion you understood because that's what the anti-gunners say.
Well,
like
to be totally honest, you could read everything he said But if you don't have an unbiased bone in your
Correct.
body, you're still going to interpret what he said as
Yeah.
as evil. I
Yeah,
mean,
if you-
people were saying that he was gunning for a position in the Biden administration. I mean, that's some next level hate right there. That's some next level hate where they're like, not only is he wrong, he's actually looking to get hired by Joe Biden. And they honestly believe that's true. Like, they put it in print, you know?
Oh shit.
Like, imagine hating somebody that much. I mean, I guess I could, but I mean, come on. And so here's the thing. What I've noticed from having conversations with Pincus,
Yeah.
he doesn't slow down.
At all.
He doesn't wait for you
At all.
to get on board.
At
He
all.
is so convinced about what he's saying being right
100%.
that it doesn't matter to him if you're on board or not.
100%.
Now, if he thinks that there's a chance that you are able to get on board, he will spend the time to keep going with the conversation
Correct.
until enough words have been said to hopefully maybe get you to understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And that is a very interesting character trait, because if you're going to do that, you better be right most of the time.
Yeah.
And you got to understand, which he does, that the moments where you're wrong, you are going to pay dearly for that.
Dearly.
Because not only did you piss everybody off, but you also turned out to be wrong.
Correct.
You know, as opposed to maybe being right and still having everybody pissed off at you.
Yeah.
So I give
So
a lot
what-
of credit for that, but I understand why so many people get so angry with
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So he came out with an article, and he wrote this article, co-wrote this article with an individual who used to be the head, right? He used to be the head of the Brady campaign.
Yes.
And then this individual, which I got to meet when I was in DC, and we both spoke at the same rally. This individual, I didn't spend too much time with him, but pretty decent individual. This individual,
Dan Gross.
Dan Gross, yep, Dan Gross. He turned away from the anti-gun movement.
He turned so far away from it that he came and spoke at the DC rally.
so far away from the anti-gun movement.
And I didn't know that he did that. I didn't know he was there until it came
Yep.
up in the context of this discussion.
Yep.
And there must have been, I mean, the people who were criticizing Pincus, at least some of them know that Mr. Gross was at this rally.
At this rally and talking
spoke.
and spoke about how the anti-gun community, especially more specifically the pro-gun control community, the people that want to pass laws and shit like that, not just the people who dislike guns but don't give a fuck one way or another, the people who are actively trying to get laws passed are super disingenuous, and they don't give a fuck about humans, period.
So
That's
I bring that up because nobody's talking about the fact that this guy got up. This rally was not a nationwide, like everybody showed up to this rally. This was a relatively small gathering of very hardcore people,
yeah.
right? These are the most vocal, the most visible people in the current gun community showing up to rant and rave about gun rights.
Correct.
And of all people to get a chance to get up and talk, the former head of the Brady campaign gets up there. And nobody says anything about that. They all want to talk about how Pincus is crossing over to the dark side. And they want to, they don't want to give him credit for working with a guy who left the dark side to come to the other dark side, to come to this relatively small group of hardcore enthusiasts
Correct.
to come out and talk in favor of gun rights, or at least against the pro-gun control groups. That's a
Correct.
huge thing. That's a huge step. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, anyways, they co-wrote an article, and the gist was: listen, background checks as they stand, they don't work. We understand that they exist, but this is the way they should be implemented, and this is the way they should work. Correct. And in that, he said, if you are legally allowed to own a gun, you shouldn't have to go through a background check. If you have a permit, you shouldn't have to have a background check. All of which is kind of outlined in this article. But everybody understood this is the way we should do the background checks, and he's in favor of background checks. That's not what he said. He says the shit exists. Good luck getting rid of background checks, because that's probably never going to fucking happen in the history of the U.S. I can say I'm against car registrations, right? And but they're always going to exist. Like, I'm never going to win that fucking battle. Car registration will always fucking be a thing in the United States, no matter where the fuck it go.
And even bringing identification to the airport to get on a plane, which is not legal, has become so accepted that everybody does it.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
We all treated that rule and those laws as they are actually written, and we all decided as a group, as a pro-freedom group, that we weren't going to do that anymore. They would have a serious problem on their hands.
Huge.
But no, it's like, here's my pre-check. I'm going to go above and beyond just showing you my driver's license. I'm going to get that pre-check so I can jump to the front of the line. And you all you peasants back there who just showed your driver's license, you got to stick in the line.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know that some of these people who are criticizing Pincus for this are the pre-check type people.
Yeah, or 4473 type people, or the fucking I got a concealed handgun permit people, or all of that shit. So I register my car people.
TSA monkeys their friggin' driver's license for like. You think this guy knows anything? You know, like, he is the gatekeeper, and you're okay with just working with him, showing your life. Like, it doesn't make any sense to hold Pincus so accountable for just saying, "Hey, let's try to make this system work."
Yeah.
Like, we're stuck with it. Let's try to make it work.
Correct. But he says that, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, he's advocating for background checks, and that's
expanded background checks.
Expanded background checks. Like, that's not the fuck he said.
Right.
What he said, if he took some time to fucking read it, was, listen, fuckers, the shit ain't working, and this is the way it fucking should work.
Here's what the gun community, in my opinion, this is the gun community's problem. They have allowed themselves to become traumatized by every goddamn thing that happens. Every single thing that happens that is even remotely anti-gun, anti-freedom, they let themselves get traumatized by it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't disagree with it. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to fight against it, but when this kind of thing happens, everybody runs to the gun store, buys every goddamn thing off the shelf, runs around telling everybody the sky is falling. You see it, I see it. We get messages from people all the time. Do you think, like the one the other day, do you think Biden's going to be able to pack the Supreme Court before this concealed carry case is argued? I'm like, do you have any idea how long that process takes? He already put a 180-day study in place. So we're already talking 6 months right there just to even talk about it.
Yeah.
Then you've got to actually expand the court. Then you've got to get your Supreme Court justices approved by the Senate. And then you got to get them seated, and then they start looking at cases. So we're just talking about this from a math point of view. Can you please just shut up about this? Can you, like, it doesn't even make any sense, but people are they run around with their hair on fire anytime anything happens, instead of just being more measured about it and being like, all right, how do we best attack this problem?
Correct.
How do we actually figure out how to fix this problem? Instead, it's just running around screaming and crying that they're going to take away your AR-15s.
And that's his other argument, right? That which is kind of one.
I got to mention Richard's comment here. I don't think there actually is a gun community.
Yeah.
I think you're right, man.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing, right? That he's always, and this is why people kind of misrepresent what he says as well. He's not too fond, and rightfully so, right? You're not too fond of. We've been against these type of individuals for a very long time. We've had to check our own hypocrisies on this quite a few times. The individuals who say shall not be infringed, and that's all they could ever say. So anytime there's ways to work with the other side and be like, well, let's fucking at least bring this shit, like, you got it over here, like we got to bring it, like, that tug of war. The Shaolin French community is like, no, we're not going to have that conversation. It's all or nothing. Like, right now, we don't have, unless you're thinking about shooting, there is no all or nothing, right? Like, if you're going to have the conversation, you kind of have to have the conversation. I'm 100% an all or nothing type of individual, but I don't have the balls to go shooting. I don't have. I've said that once. I'm going to say a million times. And every other time I have the opportunity to do that shit, I'm going to fucking say that. And just to make sure my FBI guy knows, I still don't have the balls to fucking do it. Like, I just don't.
He's just checking in. He's like, okay.
Just checking it. No, he still don't have the balls to do it. Like, I don't have the fucking balls to fucking do that shit, right? So the people who say it's all or nothing, fuck Pincus, because he said let's what he said in that article. Well, you got to understand, like, there has to be a process one way or another. If you're serious about the shall not be infringed, there's only one solution to that. Only one. Like, there's only fucking one solution to that.
And as I pointed out in that mini blog post on Facebook, in my own experience, that shall not be infringed group has disappeared when it comes to the simple process of buying and selling guns in a private sale.
Yeah.
When in 2013 in Colorado, there were a lot of people who were totally down to buy and sell guns with no background check in parking lots. And it was a kind of like a wink and a nod, like, hey, I don't care, you don't care. And as the years have gone by, the people I've interacted with are almost 100%. Nope, we got to do a background check.
Yeah.
So, like, I tell them, like, look, I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you want to do the background check, we'll do the background check. But I'm telling you that I don't care if we do one or not. I'm trying not to make it sound like a trap. I'm trying not to sound like a cop.
Correct.
Like, hey, man, don't you want to skip the background check? I just tell them, look, we'll do what you want to do, but trust me, we don't need to do it.
That's right, fellow teenagers. Who's got the reefer here?
So, it's to highlight what Gun Website said. Not everyone's worried about everything. Some of the hysteria revolves around people's business plans and getting attention, so that and that's what another thing I noticed about the whole Pincus thing was, like, the bandwagon hopping of people to be like, oh, somebody I don't know said something controversial. Oh, I have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. I mean, that's how you get attention. That's how you get views, whatever. I mean, here we are talking about it, but but
nobody knows we're talking about it, right? Like, the algorithms ain't going to find it.
That's right. We're talking into the darkness right now. But also, I mean, this is a conversation around somebody that we're currently doing business with. I mean, we have an interest in having this conversation, and I don't blame people for having an opinion, but no, it seems like a lot of people are not willing to think for themselves and just stand up and say, like, here's what I agree with, here's what I disagree with. Here's where maybe he was right, here's where he was wrong. It's just like, no, we got to hate him because he said something that may have been out of line for our hardline views. So
yeah. And every time we get the text messages, right? Because I'm gonna get the text messages. I don't know if you get the text messages, probably from Rhett. And Maj gets the text messages, and KD gets the text messages. Like, what's up with Pincus? We already know, like, fuck, he fucking wrote a long ass article probably, and nobody understood what the fuck it is.
Like, dude, I'll give you his number. Why don't you just talk to him? Why are you talking to me about it? Like, seriously, why would you send that kind of energy my way?
Correct.
Like, who better to explain themselves than him? Why do you want me to explain him to you?
Correct.
To me, there's just a lot of hypocrisy around this. There's a lot of narrow thinking, and there's a lot of short-term thinking. And the people who talk about, we got to stand up for our rights are also the type of people who will say something like, I lost all my guns in a boating accident.
Correct.
Like, that ain't standing up for your rights.
Correct.
That's a completely cowardly way to look at it.
That is surrendering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Colion Noir has a T-shirt about that. about losing all his guns in a boating accident. Look, I respect the guy. I respect his game. I think he's cool. I think he's handsome. I think that he's
with the hat on. He takes
with
that
the
hat
hat
off
on.
and he's fucking goofy looking.
well. There's a reason no one's ever seen him with his hat off, right?
You've seen him with his hat off?
I don't think I have.
No? Oh
No.
man, we're gonna have to bring him up, man.
But like, look, dude, that boating, like, he's making money off of people's cowardly attitude, you know.
Yeah.
And I personally, I disagree with that. That doesn't make me hate the guy, you know. It
Uh-huh.
doesn't make me think that he's like an enemy of the movement or whatever. You
He's the
know, It's just
enemy of
like
the state.
something I disagree with him on. It's no big deal. Yeah, people are just looking for a reason to be pissed off. And
Correct.
we don't have enough reasons to be pissed off right now. We need more of them. It's a shame.
And especially the people that already had a beef, right? So it's just and
Oh
that's,
yeah, do not go to ar15.com if you want to see anything positive written about Pincus. Dude, that guy gets nothing but hate from that crowd. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty funny.
It's hilarious. Which is weird because the owners of AR15.com are fucking homies with fucking Pincus. Like
the
they
people on AR15.com hate the owners of AR15.com as much as they hate Pincus.
which reminds us, because owners of AR15.com happens to be Brownells. Brownells is a sponsor of the Gunmaker match coming up June 19th. So
Oh snap!
super duper appreciate that shit.
So people want to give Pincus all this hate, and I just want to talk about this for a second. The man posted a video of himself driving across the country, punching a gun in the back seat. Like,
crossing
and-
state lines, manufacturing a gun.
at a minimum, this is risky, you know. And it's kind of like it's one of those things. It's like it's so far out of left field that probably nobody even knows what to do with that information. Like,
Yeah.
okay, at what point did it become a gun? Where did it become a gun? You know, and I'm like, and you know, this has to be a stunt because you can't make sure 100% that. Oh my gosh, that is not Colion Noir.
That is Colion Noir, dude. So you should see it when he's bald, and he has to go bald because the fucking I have more of a hairline than he does.
Oh my god, dude, that guy looks like he should be in like some early '90s black sitcom.
Yeah, he should be in Different Strokes.
Yeah. Oh man, keep the hat on, bro. Keep the hat on. I mean, I'm not hating on you. I'm just telling you. I'm giving you. And he knows. He never takes that hat off. If you're printing a gun while you're driving, if you hit a bump, isn't that gonna mess up your print?
Oh, dude, that was one of Richard's fucking things. He's the only thing I fucking hate about Rob
Yes.
Pincus. He fucking sucks at
Printing guns?
printing guns.
Jazzy Jeff. That's what I was thinking of for sure. Middle schooler without a hat. I tell you what, though, no matter what he looks like and no matter what dumb shirt he prints, that guy's a lot smarter than I am. I'll give him that. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a stunt. Printing a gun in the backseat of your car while you're driving across the country is a stunt.
We started talking about Pincus and we lost people.
I know. People are like, who? Who?
We don't have too many people on Facebook watching, maybe 2 people, but overall we had like 20. And now that drastically took a fucking sharp left.
So what should we talk about that's going to actually get people all
Get people back on.
riled up? How about
Yeah.
the assault weapons ban? That's not going to happen.
Oh, how about somebody talking shit about Pincus and me saying, "Hey, you call them assault weapons?" And then he says, "Well, that's what they're called." And no real fucking gun owner is gonna fucking call them assault weapons. And then you get blocked for that shit. You don't think it's gonna happen?
No, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I'll tell you what, though. I will say this. If it does happen, it's further proof or it's further evidence to me that our government is completely outside of the reach of the voter. And I had this feeling before the election. I don't remember if anybody remembers me saying this, but I made the argument well before the election that the Democrats were going to try to steal the election, because that's what they did to Bernie Sanders. And if they'll do it to somebody in their own party, why wouldn't they do it to the opposition? And
I don't know why more people are not talking about, and I've been considering this. Like I really have been considering just switching to Democrat, and then I mean they want to pack the cords. Like let's pack the fucking Democratic Party.
I don't think it'll work. I think the Democratic Party's outside the reach of their own voters.
True, in the primaries.
Yeah, in the primaries, but in the general as well. I mean, I mean, how does somebody like Nancy Pelosi continue to get reelected every single time?
But you got to understand, like, what fucking district she represents. It's a district that she don't give a fuck about, and nobody there gives a fuck. So all she needs to
I
do
don't
is
believe that. I don't believe that
No?
at all. I think that these career politicians who stay in office, I think they've got their districts on lock, and I think it has very little to do with the actual voters in that district.
No, I severely think that their voters are really just that retarded. That just
I
it
should
takes
defer to you because you actually have more experience in this than I do.
maybe, but I just think that I genuinely believe that the politically inclined people in those districts, whichever district it is super fucking retarded, and these are the people that show up though to the primaries and vote and shit like that. So they are the ones that kind of matter. But the very few that are being influential, if you will, through their vote, want to hear rhetoric. They don't want to see action. They don't give a fuck about what's actually going on. It's just that person's a Democrat and that person works. It works with the Republican. Like you look at the Western Slope for a very long time until that one gun bunny became the congresswoman. I don't know her name.
Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, that one.
Oh boy.
Lori. Her mugshot's pretty nice too.
Are you just getting me more excited?
You haven't seen her mugshot?
No.
No, her mugshot's pretty nice. It's better than my mugshot.
What did she get?
She's a thug, dude. But anyways,
what was her? What did she get picked up for?
I think she fucked somebody up.
Drunk and disorderly?
No, I think she fucked somebody up.
I bet she is a wild drunk.
That's probably what. Oh no, never mind. I take that back. Her mugshot's not all that nice.
Oh, okay.
She needs a filter for sure. That's fucked up.
She needs a Snapchat filter. That's not bad. That's from where she's from.
That is fucked up.
That's a solid 7 where she's from.
That's a rifle 7.
Yeah, it's a rifle 7. It's a Pueblo 7. Apparently, she's
that's a Pueblo.
Yeah, that's part of her district too.
Pueblo?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I didn't believe it either until somebody showed me.
She's District 2?
If the pitch of her voice didn't get so high when she gets excited, she'd be bearable. I don't know, man. That's pretty hot.
But anyways, she up until she won, I mean, it was all the same fucking dude. I mean, and you see that almost everywhere, right? Like it's the same person winning all the time.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know. I think maybe it varies by area. But I think in general, we're seeing a move towards less and less voter input and more corruption and rigging and vote rigging. And like I say this stuff, I was talking to Hudson about this the other day. Like I got my opinions about this, but that doesn't mean like I get upset about it. You know,
she barely gets Pueblo.
Okay.
She barely gets Pueblo. She doesn't have the whole county of Pueblo, but she definitely has the city.
The west side of Pueblo?
No, she's got the whole city.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
which is weird because she ain't got Canyon City or Penrose even.
Oh, that is weird. Yeah.
Super weird. But anyways.
when I say all this stuff, I'm not saying it from a place of like I want things to be overturned. I want everything to be my way. I'm freaking out. It's just like this is just my observation. I think that the election not only was stolen but emboldened the I'm not even going to say the Democratic Party. I'm going to say the globalist party
Yeah.
to continue to do this. And I think the midterm elections is going to be the true test of whether or not that's true. Because I think people are so pissed off that we absolutely should see a huge shift in the midterm elections. And if we don't, then that's going to be it for me. My opinion at that point is that this is a lost cause.
Yeah, but I don't think I think you're going to end up finding that this is a lost cause, because I was in that position after McCain lost, right? And these were my days when I was a hyper fucking neo-Nazi and shit like that. Or I'm sorry, neocon. Sorry. Fucking soundbite. Whoever wants to pick that shit up and run it. No, it was a big time fucking neocon. And I kind of got involved a little bit with the McCain campaign. Not much. I wasn't feeling McCain too much. I kind of had my doubts about McCain winning, but everybody was super pissed off that Obama won. Some for the right reasons, and other people just because he was black, and that was it. But there was enough people to be pissed off and concerned about that shit. And then after people voted for him, you were one of them, if I'm not mistaken, that voted for Obama thinking it was going to be the greatest thing ever, and then quickly realized...
In 2008?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then quickly realized, okay, this guy's full of shit, and he's not really doing what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, well, that was, because I was, let's see, in 2008, I would have been about 25, 26 years old,
Yeah.
which is a prime age to be completely disillusioned with any kind of, wishes and dreams about what the political process actually is. So
Correct.
I was in that perfect age group to be completely shattered by that election.
Yeah. And nothing happened. A lot of people were pissed off, and then everybody said they was going to swing and shit like that, and then Obama won again, and then the midterm showed that everything just kind of goes as it usually does, which is so I'm anticipating, obviously could be wrong, but I'm anticipating the same shit happens that happens in every cycle, and the Democrats are going to lose some of the seats that they gained. Not the exact same ones, but
yeah, I'm with you like 90%. But the fact that Trump
Correct.
got elected is the 10% that makes me think that
Correct.
it wasn't completely within their control.
correct.
But I think, this is just my opinion. Like I have evidence that I look to support this, but I'm not even going to call it proof. This is
Correct.
just confirmation bias or whatever. But
Yeah.
they learned their lesson from 2016. They learned, do not leave anything up to chance. Do
Correct.
not take anything for granted. And if we need to lock down a district, then we need to lock it down.
Lock it the fuck down.
And we will not even pretend that we're not doing it as long as we get the result that we wanted.
Yeah.
So the media was totally on board with it. The media was ignoring things that if they had happened in the other way, like imagine in Detroit, if it was the Republican, if Trump's poll watchers were blocking windows and kicking people out. Imagine if that had happened. Imagine what the media response to that would have been.
Oh, of course.
Right. So I look at this as evidence of like 2016 caught everybody off guard. Hillary thought she had it in the bag. She was running the show. She was, calling the shots, and she got way overconfident. And that's not going to happen again. So we're not going to have, we might get a Lauren Boebert in one district in Colorado, but we are not getting another Trump. We are not getting, we'd be lucky to even get a DeSantis in another state. And I don't mean lucky in that DeSantis is like some god that we all need to revere as some hero of the Freedom Party. I mean, he goes against the flow, and he seemingly does it without repercussion because he has control of his state. But I think you're going to see a lot less of that going forward.
Yeah. Well, I kind of hope that's correct. Just because we need, for good or bad, we need some disruption in the status quo. Now I say that now, and then when it actually happens, and you're kind of in that like, what the fuck?
Well, in a chaotic situation, nobody's got a map. Nobody has any idea where things are going and what to do, and that's frustrating and that's scary for pretty much anybody. But I guess it depends on your risk tolerance.
Yeah,
you know, how comfortable you are with not having a clear path forward.
Correct.
As an example, as Texas is trying to pass constitutional carry, you have a bunch of instructors in Texas who not only oppose it, but are willing to put their names on a document and publicly pronounce that they oppose constitutional carry in their own state.
How hilarious is it that Texas is slowly becoming what people believe Texas is?
Yeah, they can't even believe that it's not constitutional. Like, wait. In Texas, you have to get a permit to carry a gun. And this is how dumb most people are about gun laws. They don't understand the difference between needing a permit to buy a gun and a permit to carry a gun. And so, I mean, I get this question from time to time in Colorado, but a lot of the American public thinks that needing a permit means in Texas, you got to have a permit to even buy a gun.
Correct. A lot of people lose their shit when I tell them that Texas just recently got open carry.
Yeah.
Like they just recently fucking got open carry. What was that, like 3 years ago when they got open carry of handguns?
Yeah, it was I think it was about 3-4 years ago. I think, if I recall.
So like Texas is slowly becoming what?
So gun websites, can you explain what you just said? Oh, come on. Crump called those instructors and they were not all on board. I don't even know who Crump is.
Yeah, you do. John Crump, Amaland.
Okay.
Yeah, John Crump.
Wait. They were not on board with that document, or they were not on board with the constitutional carry?
I listened to 8 hours of the 107 testimonies.
I'm not doubting that there are instructors that were pro constitutional carry, and I'm certain that most instructors are pro constitutional carry. The issue is that there are any instructors at all that are anti concealed or constitutional carry, and I know for a fact that there are instructors in this state who would be against it in Colorado because
correct,
they are not creatively thinking about their business model. So yes, thanks for clarifying that. So interesting that they were misquoted. I'll have to go back and read that.
So here's the article.
I'm an idiot probably got on the phone and tried to get them to sign on to something that they didn't read very closely.
Texas LTC instructors. This is from Amaland. This is by John Crump. Texas LTC instructors distance themselves from letter against constitutional carry.
Yeah, you make a good point. What delusional world exists where all people get on board with anything? That's 100% true. You got me on that one. Fabricated the signatures?
Although most instructors listed on the letter did admit to signing it, there is still a good number that claims they didn't sign.
Well, I don't know if you could take their word for it.
Correct, because it becomes an issue of like, did you just get caught with your fucking pants down, and now you have to respond for your actions?
Yeah, and here comes somebody calling you saying, "Hey, did you really sign that?" And you're like, "Holy crap, a gift from heaven." No, I did not sign that.
It was all forged. It's fake.
Yeah, but I mean, in the long run, what does it matter? Because it's going to pass. And
you think so?
I'm pretty sure it did pass. It's just waiting for the signature, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I thought it was still in the Senate.
Oh, I could be wrong about that, I guess.
It was in the House going to the Senate, and they had doubts that it was going to pass the Senate. Maybe Gun Websites has a little bit more on that.
Did you hear that one Texas representative talking?
Oh, my God. She was talking about my gun, right?
No, she was talking about
how I carry my guns.
How Oh
How
yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about how I carry my gun. So let me find that video.
There's a remix. Hold on.
Yeah. Let me find that video. And this is how I carry my guns. Like, this is legit. We're gonna start making shirts that say this.
It's a gift. It's a gift from the universe.
So I'm gonna find that video. You fucking entertain the humans.
Okay, so if you don't know this, what Edgar's about to play, you have to, at your own leisure, you have to go onto YouTube and look for the remixes of this, because this is one of the best testimonies in Congress, or not testimonies. What do you call these? Where they go out and they give their speech about for or against the bill. This is one of the greatest speeches in any house of government anywhere in the world ever. Did you find it yet?
Yeah, of course. Whoop. Oh,
Nothing like a little dead air.
hold on.
I promise this is going to be worth it. If you haven't heard it.
Year-old trafficker who is not yet a convicted felon. Roll on into any place you want and buy a gun under this provision and walk around in whatever way you want. No
Oh, what happened?
training, no understanding, Wild West pimp style. That's what this bill does. And then that pimp can roll into whatever small businesses in your community with their stable of girls.
That's how I carry.
And they can flaunt it. And if you don't have
In
the
my
courage
stable
to
of
stand
girls.
up and say, Mr. Pimp, with your stable of girls,
Yes.
I really don't want you in here in my business in this manner.
Tough shit.
If you don't want to confront them, you got to call the police and say, guess what's going on in here? According to the great state of Texas, there's a big time Class C going on in here. And I'm being sarcastic because you all know that a Class C is nothing. It is no penalty to these people who knowingly walk into businesses.
This is so funny because it's such a great speech and it's so terrible at the same time.
Yeah.
What is she talking about? Class C. Nobody knows what she's talking about.
Wild West pimp style.
Wild
carry.
West pimp style. So you seriously making shirts?
Oh, of course.
Okay, I'm gonna need one of those shirts.
Yeah, everybody's making shirts about that, but like it won't be our shirts, right? Like
I tell you what, man. I've carried
And
Wild
listen,
West.
like I gotta say this to fucking everybody that's out there. If everybody needs the fucking Wild West pimp style carry, like it's probably me, right? Like it's
yeah.
There's nobody other. We were having dinner with a another gun person. I won't even say when. I won't even give a time reference because it'll kind of. And he had made a comment. You can't repeat this to other humans because I don't want my reputation to be tarnished. And then we had to remind him, you are talking to the individual who has fucking talked about foursomes and threesomes and fucking hookers and putting his finger on strippers' buttholes. I'm sure you're fine. I am sure your reputation is okay. And he proceeded to say, no, hold on, I haven't finished my fucking story. And his story was every other drunk person's fucking story.
It was a good story, but it was not
Correct.
shocking in the way that maybe Wild West pimp style over here might tell a shocking story.
In
By the way,
any way.
I hope your stable includes a few ponies. Some midget horses.
And gotta have the fucking midgets. Like you just gotta have the fucking
This
midgets.
is this is gold. This is gold to the internet community. It's so funny when I hesitate to call them boomers because that term is already played out. But when people who have no concept of what the internet does to you when you speak publicly, hell, even if you're speaking privately, what the internet does to you, for her to get on the floor of the house in Texas and refer to a pimp carrying a gun as Wild West pimp style.
Wild West pimp style. Also, referring to the women, and I'm sure she's a feminist because she's on that side. So I'm only going off of stereotypes, but I'm sure she's a feminist, right? Because she's got to be, because she's on that side. Stereotyping 100%.
Because she's ugly.
I'm sure it's not okay to call women a stable of fucking women.
It is when you're talking in code about black people.
Okay.
Because clearly that's what she was doing.
I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, in my opinion, look, most pimps are probably not black, but when people talk about pimps in public, in my opinion, they're using code. It's like the thug. It's like the thug word. You know, when you're talking about thugs, if you're not explicitly being clear that you're talking about a certain type of thug.
You don't know about Mr. White Folks?
Mr. White Folks? No, I don't.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't. I've never heard this. I know Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. That's all. I know.
You don't know about Mr. White Folks?
No.
Anybody that knows about pimps knows about fucking Mr. White Folks.
Clearly, I know nothing about pimps.
Fucking, how do you not know about Mr. White Folks?
Because he's not a rapper?
He's a fucking pimp. He's one of the most successful fucking pimps ever in the history of fucking pimping, fool. Look at it, like fucking bitch. Like,
well, I didn't see him in the Haters Ball, so I don't,
No, bullshit, you didn't see him in the Haters Ball.
He was not in the Haters Ball. Player Haters Ball.
Oh, okay, maybe not on that one.
Throwing signs right there, bottom right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This is fucking Mr. White Folks. You've never seen... Have you seen the movie Pimps Up, Hoes Down?
No, I have not seen that
Oh, my
movie.
God, you got to see fucking Pimps Up, Hoes Down. Like,
I will watch that movie. Yes, I will watch that movie.
You fucking have to watch that shit. Like,
is this a real person?
This is a real human being.
Dude, he looks like a cancer patient posing as a pimp.
He's a real fucking human being, Mr. White Folks.
But he was absolutely not at the Player Haters Ball.
Look at this motherfucker. This right here driving his fucking pimp mobile.
That is hilarious.
Man. You got to watch it.
Hey, what does that say? Watt QB, hold on, go back. Watt QB will go Wild West there you go, Wild West pimp style. It's right there.
Wild West pimp style. I got to fucking put this.
Is there a documentary about this guy out here?
Oh, yeah.
He's driving a Rolls Royce.
I got my name about 18 or 20 years ago. On the low end, actually, before I really got my feet wet in the game, right? And some brothers just started calling me white folks, and ever since then, it just stuck.
Look at him dancing. Woo!
He ain't no pimp if he's dancing.
Holy shit, man. All right.
Pimps do not dance.
Bullshit, they don't dance. Just because you don't know how to dance.
You think? Well, no. Let me take that back. Pimps do not dance with women.
Yes, they do.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you got to watch the fucking movie. Pimps
I never seen free dance with no woman.
Oh, wait till you see fucking Ice-T dancing with women.
Is Ice-T a pimp, though?
He was.
How can you be a punk rocker, a gangster rapper, and a pimp at the same time? That's not possible.
Ice motherfucking T.
No.
In fact, that's how he started off, was as a pimp.
How do you go from pimping to punk rock?
Easy.
I don't think so.
Oh, fucking easy. You've never seen fucking Ice-T as a pimp?
No. I know he looks like one.
No, he started off legit as a pimp.
He's got the long hair. He's got the fingernail.
He legit started off as a pimp.
All right.
Yeah, if you watch Pimps Up, Hoes Down, he's in that documentary.
I say that long hair thing. Mr. White Folks has no hair. Dude's as bald as a baby's ass. Look at him. Man, he's a dude. He's a jack of all trades, dude. Actor, singer, punk rocker, pimp.
He's not a pimp now. He's not a pimp now, but he started off as a pimp. This is him in Pimps Up, Hoes Down.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to watch this movie. I can't believe I've never seen this. Kid Rock, is that true?
What?
that Kid Rock is a pimp?
Oh, I don't know. I've never
That's
heard
what
of.
Tad says.
No, I don't know. So yeah, watch this documentary, "Pimps Up, Hoes Down." Pretty interesting times that existed.
Gun websites posted an acronym that I'm not familiar with. GLGBNAF.
Oh shit! Are we gonna have to go to the Urban Dictionary?
Man, I must be a child compared to him, man. I don't know anything.
You don't know shit, dude.
I don't know the Kid Rock's pimp. Willie Brown. Willie Brown, the mayor. Is that who we're talking about? Willie Brown, the mayor of Baltimore. Is that?
No,
is
I
that
doubt it.
Same Willie Brown.
Brown.
Yeah, if you want to see, don't look that up.
Oh, snap! Don't look. Now you got to look it up, right?
There's a really good interview on Vlad TV with Sugar Free where he talks about his life. And I say it's a really good interview because Sugar Free acts like a pimp the whole time. He just does not answer really any questions about pimping because he sticks to the code that pimping is to be, what is it? Something not told. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was he interviewing?
Sugar Free. You know Sugar Free?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Sugar Free.
I don't watch Vlad TV though.
Oh no, is this a faux pas? Is this not good TV?
It's not good for the community. It's not a brown people thing.
Is it exploitative?
It is very. That dude is what we call a culture vulture.
Well, how come he gets such good interviews then?
I don't think he does though.
I don't mean the quality of his interview.
Yeah.
I mean the quality of his guests.
Correct. Yeah. I don't know.
He likes to talk about beefs a lot, so he brings out people to bring up old beefs. And I've seen him try to ask questions about this, and you know, if the beef has been squashed, the people don't want to talk about it, and he keeps wanting to like dig into it, and they're like, it's over. What is there to talk about?
Correct.
So
yeah, no, he's just one of those.
Is he is he a brother?
No, he's a white dude.
He's a white dude?
Yeah, Vlad is a white dude.
Is this why he doesn't put himself on camera?
No, he's put himself on camera. It's just he's not
on his own show.
Yeah, no, but he's been on camera. Like everybody knows who he is.
Well, he gets good access.
Correct. Very good access.
Yeah. So what's up with that? How come he gets good access if everybody knows he's a culture vulture?
No clue.
Which, by the way, I've never heard that term before.
No.
This is stuff white people don't know about because we don't have culture vultures.
Fucking culture vultures. Yeah, that's that guy right there.
Actually, to be totally correct, I believe that the entire world is a culture vulture for America. They take everything we got and they try to make it their own.
A lot of the shit, yeah, absolutely.
Coca-Cola, pizza, jeans.
Well, I'm not gonna say Coca-Cola. I think Coca-Cola took it to the world and tried to make it to other people.
You ever seen Three Kings?
No.
Ice Cube, George Clooney, and Mark Wahlberg. Oh man, there's a really good scene in that movie where Mark Wahlberg gets captured by Iraqis and he's being interrogated by an Iraqi soldier, and he's criticizing American culture, and he's like, he's saying, you know, what is so wrong with it? Like, how does American culture produce Michael Jackson? Like, what is wrong with, what is so sick about your society that produces somebody like Michael Jackson? he's asking me, you know, King of Pop? Why? I can't do this scene, but if you've seen Three Kings, you know what I'm talking about. I can't believe you. Well, no, I can believe you haven't seen a lot of movies. I think you would like Three Kings. It's a pretty good movie. Ice Cube.
Dude, you're wrong. Jeans were made in fucking Italy.
No. So is pizza. That doesn't mean it's not American.
Oh no, but you can't say it's yours and then
no. We stole it so effectively that it is.
Then now it's ours. Yeah. Okay.
like an Office Space where they're talking about the money they stole, and he's like, "No, it becomes ours."
You're like, no. I know we stole it, but like it's ours now. Like it's,
Hamburgers, blue jeans, war. I mean, like, all of
This
our
shit
best
is
stuff
ours.
is just stolen. I was thinking about that the other day. I was trying to like consolidate real American culture,
yeah,
and I can't really put my finger on
there
it.
is none.
I mean, there
Like-
must be something that you could cohesively call American culture, even if it's just like a conglomeration of a bunch of other cultures. But what
I think
is
the
it?
only thing that like if we're being
Spring break.
objective,
Spring break.
like if we're being like super objective, the only thing that the U.S. and I'm not talking about like made it our own, is I'm talking about legit shit started here. Maybe baseball, but even that's a deviation from cricket.
But did it start as a deviation from cricket?
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know because I don't know the history. Like football, you can't call it that because that is strictly a deviation from original football, which is rugby. It was more
Yeah.
rugby style.
So gun website says jazz. And I think that that's
Maybe,
true to a
yeah.
degree, but it's like derivative of a bunch of other styles. It's interesting. I mean, you could say maybe rock and roll, and everything's derivative of something at some point, right? Like you can't say something is completely one culture's if you go back far enough. You're probably going to find it some derivative of some culture.
So individual sovereignty respected by the state. I don't know.
Oh man, the Magna Carta.
I still don't believe what other people believe about that stuff. I think there's other countries that have had that. It just we have like magnified it and made it to believe it. I just posted a fucking video about it was gun related, but a motherfucker with 20 round fucking mag on a fucking Tokarov that was fully auto in the Middle East shooting that shit.
That wasn't 20 rounds, dude.
How many rounds?
That was like 40, 50 rounds.
So
It was a handle.
Oh, that shit was pretty incredible.
Like you could have strapped that on a motorcycle, it'd be the handlebars for the motorcycle, and it ran the whole magazine. That was incredible. So if you look at American culture, I think you can say things like baseball. You can say multiculturalism itself maybe might be our culture because it's very rare anywhere else in the world that multiculturalism is tolerated to the level it is here.
Or it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I guess, I mean, it's a version of that. Police brutality, that's ours. We're pretty good at that.
Police killing people.
Actually, I sat down with my youngest, with my daughter, and right before the George Floyd or before the Derek Chauvin verdict, she's homeschooled now. So, this is my version of educating her, which is to talk about this in context of Rodney King and the 4 police officers in LA that were put on trial for Rodney King's beating.
Yeah.
And the more I talked about it, like the more I thought to myself, man, we just keep doing this over and over again. We keep having this same conversation, the same type of thing happens,
Yeah.
But it is magnified. It's magnified by the media to some degree. But it's no joke. I mean, when you one of the movies that stands out to me is Menace to Society, where the 2 kids, Old Dog and what's the main character's name? Kane, get picked up by the cops for not doing anything. Now, I mean, it's not like these kids are angels, they're getting into trouble. They're doing stuff they shouldn't do. Old Dog killed somebody over nothing, but they get picked up for no reason by the cops and just beat up and dropped in a Mexican neighborhood.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff has happened for years and years and years.
Correct.
And it never got reported. I mean, what was groundbreaking about Rodney King was that we finally got it on video.
Yeah.
But I was trying to explain to my daughter, man, there's more than one side to this story, though. And it's a long and complicated history, but the media wants you to see this as like a one-dimensional event that, the whole fate of the world is resting on whether or not Chauvin gets a guilty verdict or not. And it's like, yeah, it's important that we draw attention to this. It's important we hold people accountable and stuff, but the fate of the world is not resting on this verdict. And I think that's what happened with Rodney King, because it was such a charged event when we had so many people who are so tuned up by this, because we had the video, we had the public trial, we had all the news coverage, we had all of that, got everybody tuned up so that when that not guilty verdict came, man, there was no other outcome that was going to happen.
Fucking mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah. To answer gun websites, being an anchor baby, my parents came here illegally from Mexico. I lived in Mexico.
You should have said Italy.
Yeah, Italy. I should have. From Italy. It's the same shit, just in Europe. But yeah, and even in Mexico, though, the corruption there is different, right? Like the police corruption is just different. It's not an abuse thing. It's in the physical sense, right? It's more like, just give me $20 so I can feed my kid, and then I'll fucking won't give you a ticket, and I won't say shit about this shit. So it's drastically different than the U.S. Because there is corruption, there is all that shit. And one thing that we've become so good at because of the media here is politicizing that type of shit, and then people being put to trial, but in the court of public opinion before anything else. Like, you see this with the George Floyd. Like, if we're gonna stay on that subject, like, as soon as it came out that the person had weed in his system, or I forgot what else he had in his system. Yeah. So, like, people are like, well, that's justified right there to fucking kill him. Like, that's like, and really, depending on which side you're on with all this shit. Like, for me, I don't think you could be on crack, and given a fake 20, and like, it still doesn't justify killing an individual. Doesn't justify you being a piece of shit, right? But it's always in the court of public opinion. It's not in, like, let's look at the facts and what the fuck happened. And I think that's the problem with cases like Rodney King and cases like George Floyd and the many other cases, Michael Brown and shit like that. Like, it gets looked at politically in the court of public opinion instead of the way it should be looked at, and they just look at the facts.
I think that what people overlook, people on the right overlook about this is they think, well, we should just hold these people accountable and put them on trial, and if they did anything wrong, they go to jail. Well, most of the time they don't. Most of the time they don't even get that far. And without public exposure to these kind of issues, that's never going to happen. On the flip side, the people on the left, and when I say people on the left, I guess what I mean here is people who care about this stuff, but who are not necessarily politicized by it. People who are suspicious of the police, people who are who care about minorities who are getting mistreated and stuff. They put all this blame on the entire act of policing, not realizing that what you're seeing in the media is a minority of events. Now, that doesn't justify it, doesn't make it okay, but both sides want to radicalize this into something that it may not necessarily be, and there is no justice done anywhere.
So here's the solution, right? Anarchy, motherfuckers. Like, I've been trying to tell you motherfuckers for a very long time. Quit voting. Don't show up. Don't pay taxes. Don't register your cars. Don't get a 4473. Don't wear a mask. Or do, right? When somebody tells you, don't wear a mask, you were like, fuck you, I'm going to wear the fucking mask.
Yeah. So my allergies this spring have been really, really bad.
Yeah, throw on a mask.
and the obvious thing to do would be to wear a mask, because those particulates would actually be stopped by a mask. But I'm so anti-mask, I wouldn't even put one on. And I'm sitting here suffering. I can't see. I'm like, I am so. I'd rather have COVID, and I'm like, no, I'm not wearing a mask.
This year has been particularly tough on the fucking allergy shit, but yeah, that's the weird shit.
So, Richard's pointing out that Chauvin was a POS cop. He was. He had multiple complaints against him.
Yeah.
And he had a previous relationship with Floyd, and you know, he was a bad cop. Floyd was not a good dude himself. Floyd was, you know, a petty. I mean, you run a shop. I mean, you run a business, and if somebody passed you a counterfeit bill, you'd be upset about it. You know, like. I got you were there. I got passed counterfeit bills one time at the Tanner Gun Show. Somebody gave me like $200 in counterfeit bills, two counterfeit $100 bills, and I was pissed, man. I was like, this guy just stole from me.
Correct.
You know? I managed to
shot
figure
him?
out. No, I wouldn't have shot him. I might have used some very harsh language. You know.
Stop it, mister.
Yeah, you're bad.
You're bad.
You're bad, and you should feel bad.
That is wrong of you.
You know, it's not like, I mean, that wasn't even the worst thing Floyd did. I mean, he did a home invasion on somebody, pointed a gun at a pregnant woman. Like, that's, you know.
And that's where he should have died, right? Like
probably, yeah.
Like at that point, not for the stupid shit that he was doing. Then, like, if like the people who are looking at all this shit and like, oh, like he pointed a gun at somebody, like, well, maybe that lady should have had a gun for self-defense.
Yeah. So I'm going to steal something from another podcast, but I think it kind of rounds out this conversation pretty well, which is Floyd arguably died of a fentanyl overdose. Now, the knee on the neck didn't help, but there's definitely some evidence that he had a fatal amount of fentanyl in his system. And not only that, but I've heard from some experts that the way he was acting kind of demonstrated he was in the middle of a overdose.
Okay.
And all the blame lands on Chauvin. There was somebody else who died of a fentanyl overdose, and you know who they went after? The drug dealers.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that was?
No.
This very famous person died of a fentanyl overdose, and they went after, arrested the drug dealers and charged them with murder.
Michael Jackson?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the podcast I was listening to pointed out the fact that at the time when Philip Seymour Hoffman died, he had a huge financial pull. Like, he was worth a lot of money to the studios.
Yeah, that fucker was in a lot of decent movies.
I mean, and like, they just kept growing. Like, the movie, he was a phenomenal actor. It got to the point that if you had him starring or co-starring in a film, it was almost like a guaranteed nomination for, you know, an Academy Award on some level. And that dude, they tracked down his dealers and they arrested him and they publicized it.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference? Is money. It's just money, in my opinion. And whenever anybody wants to talk about politics, my first inclination is to look at the money. Yeah. Who's making money off of this?
Yeah.
And that's where the blame lies. That's where the whole story lies. And George Floyd was worth a lot of money in certain contexts. Derek Chauvin, not worth anything. He was sacrificed because he was a piss-on cop that could easily be put at the forefront of a movement as like a rallying point for police brutality. And he was a pretty good candidate for it.
And he didn't need to be a cop to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, look at him. You just look at him, dude. That's not somebody you want to deal with.
Just fucking look at him.
He's one of those guys that could have been maybe good looking if he had gotten a couple different genes from his parents. He's got thinning hair. He obviously has a chip on his shoulder. That guy is not the kind of cop you want to interact with.
So don't forget this. We're gonna have to provide this information to
Whoa. Richard said 9 grams of fentanyl. That can't be right.
We're gonna have to give this to Brian. So just remember, this is the type of cop that
you know who looks like Derek Chauvin, by the way?
That. He's kind of like one of these cops.
I was just gonna say that, dude. Sheriff Smith of Larimer County looks like he could be Derek Chauvin's cousin, dude. Maybe
So-
even his dad.
We got to date stamp this shit. What the fuck is it? It's 9/11. 2 hours 10 minutes. We're gonna have to provide this shit to our attorney Brian DeBush.
That picture's been bugging me for a while, and now I finally understand it. I finally understand it, man.
For those of you that don't know what the fuck that context is, we are in litigation with Larimer County. No secret, right? No secret whatsoever. I've been pretty vocal about that shit. And we're in basically pre-trial meetings at the moment.
If this goes to trial, we're gonna need to use that.
We have to fucking we have to disclose.
We're gonna have to somehow associate him with Derek Chauvin.
Shit. Holy shit.
That's insane, man. I'm not kidding, dude. That picture has been bothering me. Like that picture, there's something about that picture that's just been on my mind. Like, what is it about that picture?
And now you know?
Now I know, man. Now I know. We need to actually put a picture of the two of them together.
Well, let's do that.
So I wanted to say this about gun websites. Gun websites. I used to follow your blog way back in like 2008, 2009, back in the heyday of gun blogs. So it's cool to see you show up here. And I don't know if you're just one person or if it's multiple people, but I stopped doing the blog thing a long time ago. But yeah, I do remember gun websites, and
That's the homie right there, man. Gun websites. Motherfucking homie.
so I'm not going to tell you to say your name if you don't want to say your name, but yeah. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for dropping in. We need to get the Ammo Land dude on here. We need to invite him
John
to
Crump?
to come on for a
Yeah, we could get John Crump.
probably not before the end of the lawsuit. Probably get ourselves in trouble if we talk too much about.
We could just we'll probably talk to him afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's not even that there's anything wrong going to be said, right? Like there's not a whole lot that we need to be super worried about.
It's just the fact that we have to talk about, like we have to document every conversation we have about it. Like that's a nightmare in and of itself.
Correct. Yeah. So boom, 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 boom. Is it coming up?
So we're gonna have to actually that very first picture, the top left one, that's the one
This
that looks
one?
most like him, I think.
This one?
Yeah.
Are you saying all white dudes look alike?
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? I mean, obviously it's a stereotype to say that, all black people look alike. And I'm not going to lie, man. I have a serious problem with misidentifying black people. But I'll tell you this, after doing as many classes as I have, there's only a certain number of white faces.
Correct.
After a while, they all start to look the same.
Correct. Yeah.
And so I've actually had people come to my classes and I've asked them, have you been in here before?
Yeah.
Because you look familiar. And they're like, no, it's my first time. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
You're
it's
just white.
me. Yeah.
You're just white. No, I think there is a super. I mean, there has to be, right? Like we come from the same area. The genes are kind of the same. Northern Mexicans kind of look the same. Southern Mexicans kind of look the same. We get taller as you go up in northern Mexico. Mexicans get shorter as they go down to southern Mexico. Because you get more primitive, right? It's weird. It's fucked up to say it that way.
Oh, that's racist.
Super.
I'm glad you said that and not me.
But no, you do get more primitive as you go down to southern Mexico. And obviously what I mean by that is they are a lot more closely attached to original Mexican native roots than northern Mexico is, because
Isn't there a name for that?
What's that?
It's not Taínos. What is the name for indigenous Mexicans?
Oh well, it depends on what kind of indigenous, because you still have the Mayas, and you still have the Aztecs and
The
you
Incas.
still have
and
the Incas and stuff like
don't
that.
they all have like? Let's just go ahead and disregard their whole cultures and just give them all one name. Don't they all have one?
I've never heard that. If there is, it's probably more of a white people thing.
Mestizos? Is that it?
No, mestizos is us.
Oh,
The people,
us,
the
not you.
Yeah, mestizos is if I remember correctly, it's really more. The Spaniards already raped your family.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're talking about pre-raped or pure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Pre-rape Mexicans.
pre-rape Mexicans.
Idios? I don't know Idios. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, let's look that shit up.
Miguel is our go-to source for La Raza. So
I'm only coming up with Greek words in Idios.
Okay. Yeah, so mestizo means you have Spaniard and Indian blood. So what is Taínos?
Let's look it up.
Oh, I guess I have an internet too. I don't even know how to spell it. Taínos?
A member of the Arawak people formerly inhabiting Greater Antilles and Bahamas. So those are from the Bahamas, fucker.
Oh, I think they're more black.
Correct. Which southern Mexico has a lot of that. I'm still annoyed by people assuming Vietnamese people are related by our last names.
Guilty. Guilty as charged. I grew up with a lot of Filipinos, and they all had Spanish names, and that really confused me for a long time.
Yeah, see, Mr. Knives has it, the Nahuas. But I think the Nahuas that's really in relation to, that's an indigenous group, though, the Nahuas. A group of indigenous people in Mexico and El Salvador. Historically, the Nahuas comprise largest indigenous. See, it's a tribe. The Nahuas are a tribe.
Okay.
So I don't think there's really.
As a white person, I would prefer if you guys just all refer to yourselves under one name. That would really make it easier for me.
There isn't. There's so many.
Yeah. Fam says, I'm still annoyed by people assuming Vietnamese people are all related by our last name. So we don't understand in this country how you could have a last name that's actually a first name, or what a last name actually means. You know, we're so used to a culture where everybody's last name is different. You know, we're so used to that.
Okay, Johnson.
So
okay, Jones.
Well, let me give you an example. So I had in a class the other day, I had two people with the last name Powers.
Yeah.
And they were shocked when they met each other. It's like, oh my God, your last name's Powers? My last name's Powers. What? That's crazy. You know?
But I don't think that's true, though, because, again, I mean, you got Jones, you got Johnson, you've got... I've seen Powers a lot. What are the other...
I wish my last name was Powers.
Powers. Isaac Powers.
Ethiopian.
The one that I enjoyed the most, now I was pissed off because she got married, because I wanted a piece of that. But you remember Eric Black? Aaron Black, sorry, Aaron.
Aaron Black.
Yeah,
yes.
DDS.
Yes.
The fucking thick fucking white chick. Fucking deliciousness. She married a dude with the name, and his name was Black.
No, her name was Black. His last name was Powers.
Yeah.
No,
Either way.
Power.
Either way, it was Power.
Yeah.
It was Power. So the hyphenated last name was Black Power.
She actually had a name tag made for her office.
Yeah,
that said
Black Power.
Aaron Black Power. I wish I had taken a picture of that.
That's if you're gonna have a last name, like it was gonna be that one. It was gonna be that one.
So we should have Fam explain to us how the last names work for Vietnamese, because I think like there's a pretty simple system for that, but we don't know what that is.
There you go. our last names are passed down by kings and queens.
Yeah, but like, how does that actually work? I mean, how many? I don't know. I'm talking out of my butt now. But Miguel gave us another word, los primos.
It's cousins.
Is that another one? Can we use that one? Could that be the all-encompassing non-white Mexican?
That means cousins.
That's it.
Yeah, it's primos are cousins.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh shit, Mr. Knives is gonna fucking give all of the. This is why you can't encompass all of them because look, he's still going.
I don't even know how to pronounce that because it's got the accent. Puree picha.
No, remember in Spanish it's just
pecha?
5.
Puree pecha.
Purepecha. Purepecha.
Purepecha. I was close. Not really.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah. And then we had a reference to Ethiopian names. The only Ethiopian last name I know is Selassie, which is, I don't know. That's another king last name. Haile Selassie was the king of Ethiopia before they decided to become a democracy, I believe. So a funny story about that. My son's Ethiopian name was Ashinafi, and we were trying to come up with a short version of that, so that kind of a nickname. And my wife and I were, what if we call him Asha? And our Ethiopian friend informed us that the name Asha is stupid.
Is it Asha or Ashe Nafi?
Well, it's Ashi, Ashe. But we were trying to come up with a cute nickname, so we tried Asha. Yeah.
Like, no, that means dumb.
So my name, I have a German, a Hebrew, and a Muslim name. So I've got all the warring factions together in one place.
I always forget that your fucking middle name is Mohammed.
Yeah.
It's
Muhammad, please.
Muhammad, please.
Yeah.
Enunciate the H. Muhammad. It always fucking escapes my mind that you are a fucking Muhammad. We just need to start calling you Muhammad and fucking get it over with, dude.
So the Hebrew and the Muslim name, they're always at war so I'm always at war with myself.
With yourself?
Yeah.
Especially when you're fucking beating yourself. I will dominate you.
You're sick.
Oh shit.
So
and me, I'm the only Mexican with just 2 names.
That's
my first
true.
and last.
What's up with that? How come you don't have 5 names?
Edgar Antillon. That is it.
So you're supposed to get your mom's last name. How does that work?
It would be Edgar Delgado de Antillon.
Is that your mom's last name, Delgado?
Mom's last name, and then Delgado.
Is it Delgato or
No.
Delgado?
Delgado, which if it's a word, which is translated to skinny or thin. So
I can see why it didn't stick.
It didn't stick. Yeah. Delgado.
Hey-yo. So Fam says his dad's name is Fuck Fam.
Hell yes.
Which is what I say when I'm about to address a group of friends.
So here's what the fuck Fam and I need to do. Fam and I, and Fam already is in the stereotype industry, but I want to pull him away from that stereotype industry and then bring him to another stereotype industry. I, as a Mexican, used to own a barbecue restaurant. Fam is Vietnamese. We need to fucking do this together. I've said this before in the podcast, by the way, and we just have to make it fucking a reality, fam. We need to start a barbecue and pho restaurant, call it Pho Q. We have to. We fucking have to.
And then make it whites only?
Fucking whites only. Call it Pho Q. We have to. Like, that is the natural fucking thing to do. Clearly, it's late in the fucking podcast because we've lost full fucking control of this shit. No, it's not gonna be beans and rice. There's nothing fucking better than fucking fuck you. Like it's just I've already got the logo and shit. Like it just
So I've never actually been to a pho restaurant.
no.
Is it just soup?
It fucking is. It just soup. It's fucking delicious soup.
But
There's one.
Is it only soup though?
No. We go to a place that's called Pho on 74. It's right down the street from us, and they serve a dish. Now I don't know how authentic it is, but it's fucking delicious. I don't know what the fuck it's called. My wife, she's on here, and yeah, there's so many, but there's no fuck yous. Like there's no. I know there's a lot of pho places, and the names.
You'd have
they're
to have
all
two
taken.
This is what I'm getting at. You'd need 2 kitchens.
No, you don't. You just need one fucking kitchen. You just need one fucking kitchen. The smoker's gonna be outside. Like everything else is the same.
Rice bowl, egg rolls, soup.
So
Yeah.
clearly my wife is not listening to this shit at this point. She's just fucking dead now. She just fell asleep. So there goes our nightly plans to go meet up with that hooker. But the dish that she gets us is fucking incredible, dude. It's amazing shit. It was some of the most orgasmic fucking food you will ever have. Oh, my son in with the fucking clutch. Vera Fam, what the fuck is Vericelli?
That doesn't sound very Filipino or
It
Vietnamese.
sounds Italian, huh?
Man, I just made a faux pas. I did not mean Filipino. Filipino is the only Asian group that I like know.
You just made a faux pas.
Started with a dad joke, ended with a dad joke.
Fucking
Aloe vera jelly.
aloe vera jelly.
Oh, we've gone off the rails. All right, so
No, I'm gonna have to pull it up for you, motherfuckers.
all right, while he's pulling it up, I'll give you a preview for next week. Next week, we're gonna try to get Brian DeBosch on.
Debouche.
That sounds like Kung Fu Panda, skadoosh, to talk about the concealed carry bill that's going before the Supreme Court. The reason why we're having him on is because we really like him, but also he is involved in a couple of cases in Colorado that are going to be impacted by the decision on this case. So he's got some insight into that. And I think
Vermicelli.
Vermicelli?
That sounds Australian, huh?
That does not sound Vietnamese at all. Not even close.
And they don't even have a thing for a picture for it. I need to show you.
You know what my favorite thing about Vietnamese people is?
What's up?
Is how they say Vietnam.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Vietnam. I just love the enunciation.
That
of
is
how
not
they.
how Fam says it.
Well, I don't know how Fam says it. Fam doesn't have much of an accent. He's got barely a little bit of an accent. But people who from Vietnam with a strong Vietnamese accent, the way they say it, I just love the way they say Vietnam. I don't know. Maybe that makes me a racist. I'm sorry.
Clearly. So anyways, yeah, here it is. I'll post it up. It kind of looks like this. It is, and the little salad that they give you with it is fucking incredible.
Oh God, I'm gonna out myself here as a creep.
Look at
but
the shit.
If you're interested in some good Vietnamese cooking, I think it's Vietnamese. Go watch Pong's Kitchen on YouTube.
No, like this shit right here and that little salad that they give you is, oh my God, it's pretty.
I think Pong's Kitchen makes Vietnamese food, but I'm not sure about that.
Is it Uncle Joe's approved?
I don't know. Just Google Pong's Kitchen real quick.
Yeah, if it's not Uncle Joe approved, then I don't know if we can watch it.
Just Google it.
You know who Uncle Joe is?
You mean Creepy Uncle Joe?
No, Uncle Joe. No, not that fucker. Is it Uncle Joe? Uncle Roger. Sorry, Uncle Roger. You got to watch Uncle Roger.
Okay.
Fucking hilarious guy.
Okay, I will watch Uncle Roger. But you got to look up Pong's Kitchen real quick.
What?
Tweejo, sponsored by ExpressV.
Change the what?
Change the wok. Gordon have 2 wok. Oh my God.
You gotta watch that motherfucker.
Okay.
Anyways, we've lost control.
Now you got to pull up Pong's Kitchen though,
Okay, let me pull up Pong's
because
Kitchen.
I don't know if this is Vietnamese or not.
Pong's Kitchen. Well, Uncle Roger isn't Vietnamese. He's Chinese. Actually,
okay.
he's English.
Just does the accent really well.
Yeah, it was fucking convincing. Oh, I see why you watch Pong's Kitchen. Now I know why you watch Pong's Kitchen.
It's not translated well. I don't know if this is Vietnamese or not.
No, now I know why you watch Pong's Kitchen. There's no other reason why you watch Pong's Kitchen. Look at that.
This came up in my recommended.
This is OnlyFans, fucker. This is not Vietnamese.
How does this come up in my recommended?
Oh, we know how it fucking comes up in your recommended. Look at that. Like it's.
I'm just saying, it's not clear if this is Vietnamese or not. That's my
Her
point.
fucking nipples are out, dude. Like her titties are fucking out. Like it's. That's fucking porn. Is what the fuck? Gun website. No. We got the homie gun websites in here telling us not to Google something, and then you fucking make us fucking watch porn.
You're mistaken. YouTube does not have that kind of content.
Did you not see the fucking nipples? The fucking nipples were out, dude.
I was focused on the fried rice, man.
Oh shit!
There was a restaurant on Hamden called Pho for You, but their sign was broken, so it read Ho for You.
Yeah, that's Pong's Kitchen right there. That was the creation of Pong's Kitchen.
So you've answered the question. It is Vietnamese.
It is Vietnamese. Oh shit!
Oh, okay.
Oh fuck!
I think we've reached the bottom.
We've fucking dug deep. We've dug deep.
Amazing that Pong's Kitchen did not keep the audience engaged.
We've lost fuckers because of Pong's Kitchen. The titties came out, and then everybody said, "Nope, that's it.
I'm too good for this.
Too good for this." We know our audience. Yes. Fuck, man! YouTube has naked yoga. Share a link, or it didn't happen.
I'm not sure that counts, man. I don't know if you watch that stuff. It's kind of like, ooh.
I don't know. There's a few of them that do it just fine. They just do it just fine. Anyways, seems like we've lost. This is a good time to call it.
Brobro logged out a few minutes ago. It's time to check out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. It's been fun, and Monday nights we should be back, and we should have a fantastic guest for us next week.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you guys. Guns for Everyone, gunsforeveryone.com, concealedcarryforfree.com, gfenational.com. Don't forget to check out the homies over at USCCA. Super appreciate their partnership. Appreciate everybody on Mr. Gun Knives Mr. Knives Gun Websites. Miguel, Richard, Fam, Tad, and everybody that fucking commented, Dave earlier on. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being on. Thanks for the support. Wash your motherfucking asses, motherfuckers.